All right. So, do you want to say the thing? I'm on.
Welcome to the Automated Podcast, episode 19, with me, the Real Shiesty, at the Real Shiesty, and at Joshua Cash. And you can follow us on Spotify and Apple and YouTube and Twitch. We're on Twitch right now. And what else, Josh? Keep adding on.
Well, the main platforms is YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify are the main ways to check us. Obviously, you can connect with us on social media like Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. But we're just happy that you're listening and hanging with us.
Yes, and feel free to share your comments during this podcast. Also, our old podcast too. That doesn't hurt as well. Share us and join us or whatever you can. So how was your week, Josh?
It's actually been good now that I have more free time. I've actually been able to play games. But also, happy post New Year to everybody. It's
Oh yes,
2023. I just looked at today. I'm like, oh yeah, because I was about to put 2022 in the thing, but I'm like, no, it's 2023.
2023. Yep, first pod of the new year. So my New Year celebration was pretty good. I got pretty drunk.
You got pretty
Uh,
drunk, so that means you don't
pretty
remember
drunk.
anything.
Oh, actually, I do. It was actually a really good night. After I tallied up how much I drank, I didn't think I drank as much as I drank, but nonetheless, really good. Hangover wasn't really that bad. Started off with a pretty nasty headache, but that was the most of it, and it went away. So not too shabby. We ended up doing. Me and some friends went out for like indoor miniature golf and was there for the countdown. And then I ended up back in my place and just kept on celebrating. So, how
I
did
think
yours work?
I just celebrate with family. Hung out at the house, had a whole bunch of family over, did the countdown. But how does miniature golf work on New Year's? Was there a lot of people there? Because that doesn't sound like a traditional hangout place for New Year's.
No, there actually was a lot of people. I wouldn't suggest by any stretch of imagination it was like elbow to elbow, but it was quite packed. Best way I describe it is there's like four courses. Some of the courses have similar holes, but basically it's all like electronic, if that makes sense. I mean, it's not all electronic. I mean, there's actual like moving courses and stuff. But there's like a chip in the ball, so the moment you put the ball on the ground, it like registers your name, so it then calculates how many times you hit it, and yeah, it was just really cool. Definitely a cool place. I think, and there's like what was it, 9 holes, I guess, per course. So yeah,
Oh, 9 holes per. Okay, that isn't too bad.
yeah.
There was I don't know exactly what the name is, but there's a miniature golf course over here. Obviously, you got the normal haunted trails and all that stuff, but there's another
Hmm.
one. I haven't been there such a long time, man. Miniature golf is oddly fun. Like, even if you're not a
Oh, it is.
golfer, it's fun.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I think like this place was more, dare I say, more catered towards adults because like in the center there's obviously this big bar. And then they do serve food. They do have a kitchen, so they do allow kids, but they kick them out almost like a Dave and Buster's, right? They'll kick them out after like
At a certain
whatever it
point.
is, 7 or 8 p.m. Yeah, and then it's like adults till however late that they're open. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Adult haunted trails.
An adult haunted trails. Yeah, I mean that's basically what Dave and Buster's really is, with the exception of the miniature golf aspect, because Dave and Buster's doesn't have that. But oddly enough, like you know, it's just, I guess it's kind of just evolving into good conversation. But like you've like being us being gamers, I know that's a different element, a different type of gaming. But like you think
It's still
that
a game.
yeah, no, it's still game. But like you would think, I mean, I'll just answer for me. Like I've never been excited to really go there. Like I've been there many times, had friends that hosted parties there, but to me it was never really like, oh my god, I can't wait to go to Dave and Buster's. Like it just never tickled my fancy that much. I don't know what your take on the place is. It's not that it's a shitty place. It's just like I don't know. It's like being even as a gamer it just didn't excite me.
So, I think it varies. You have to be in the arcade mood for it because that's what they are. They're just modern day arcades with just
For sure.
flashy lights, prizes. It's a place just to waste time, have fun, and be energetic. Um, Normally I don't seek it out, but if I go there, I usually have a good time.
mean, I'm not saying I don't have a good time. It's just something that's like, oh, like I can't wait to go or can't wait to go back. Like it's more or less like someone else has
Yeah.
to plan it there. It's like, okay, cool, we're gonna go. But like
Yeah,
me myself, I'm never like, oh, like I never said I want to take a date to Dave and Buster's or anything like that. Like I know people do go and date and go to Dave and Buster's, but like, yeah, it's just not
yeah.
not not my place.
I'm not that person either. I only go if, invited or if, somebody asks. But what do you do when you go there? Because I usually gravitate to like the light gun games or like competition, like shoot like basketball shooting or like the what's that thing called? The is it skee ball where you're throwing the ball up?
Yeah.
And then if I'm with people that are really competitive, we look for the air hockey table and just try to beam it in the hole.
Oh yeah, air hockey is cool. They so like thankfully I've like my times that I've gone is like there's long gaps right in between. So the last time I went, I think the times before I've been mostly like, dare I say, just mostly go for the drinks. But the last time I went, there was a couple cool games actually that were very interesting. Air hockey always is a classic to me for sure. I love a good game of air hockey. But they had one that was like a four-way pong. It's hard to explain,
So is
but
it one ball or two balls going at the same time?
it was one ball, but you battled against three other people. Like it was almost reminiscent of air hockey, but a little bit slower.
So I wonder if they took inspiration. So there's something called it's either I think it's called slap ball or something, where you have like there's four people around, they're on like a trampoline, they slap the ball on the trampoline, the other person has to get it. I wonder if they just like adapted that game into like the ping pong version because it's easier that way, and you just have four people just hitting the ball back and forth, and you just had to like psych them out so you can get past them.
Yeah, I don't maybe, but it was just like it was all digital, and you just move the damn thing.
Oh,
Just
I thought you were talking about like when sorry when you said pong, I was thinking about ping pong.
no, like actual like 19 what is that 70s pong or whatever.
Oh, that's
but but but
interesting.
but yeah, but four-way pong. So yeah, I thought that one was interesting. And the other one that really excited me was what was it? It was I think it was DC. Yeah, it was a DC fighting game, but it didn't play like an arcade fighting game. It was different. I think it was just like a few buttons or something. But the gimmick with it was you played whether you win or you lost. It would print out a card for you, and then that card you could actually scan in the future to then utilize that character. But the better you did, I guess the rare card you would get. And I just thought that shit was fucking awesome. Like I towards the end of the day, I think I like was running out of credits, so I didn't like find it early. I was like, oh my god, probably it's a good thing I didn't because I probably would have blown all my money on this damn machine. And it just like had me thinking. I was like, man, like I don't know if they like whoever was the company that made that model or whatever that format. I was like, oh my god, like I don't wonder if they would have or if they done it for other games.
Oh,
Like
they definitely would have made it killing if it was a mobile game. Like Marvel Snap is one of the big ones like that. Like it's basically like Hearthstone, but you battle, and then if you win, you get like card packs that have like rarer cards, like 3D prints or whatever. It's cool.
yeah, and that's kind of like what I was getting at. I was like, man, if they like implemented this with different IPs, like that's scary. I was like, damn, I better not even look into that. Um, but yeah, like those are ones that really really gravitate to me. Plus, they had like I had a big pile of things like the axe throwing thing, but the real ones. But they had like a digital version, so you'd throw like I guess they were plastic or rubber axes. Um, but I mean, a lot of them were decent, but some of them were just strictly like gambling ones, right? Like you just drop in money and RNG.
I if there's like a gambling game, I don't play unless if I know I could take advantage of the system. Like there's usually I'm not sure if they have it in like David Buster's and all that stuff, but like when I used to go to Haunted Trails when I was like a kid, there was a machine that would circle around and you would drop a coin in there. But if you timed it correctly, you would always make it in there, and I would always play that game, get like 200 tickets, 200 tickets, 200 tickets, and eventually like $5 in, I'm buying like all these big items just because they timed it correctly every single time.
Yeah, they'd still have some of those, but now they're so digital, right? Where it's like
It's all luck now.
basically, I mean, you could still like hit like the higher numbers, right? But you're not always going to be guaranteed at town because I think there is like some sort of like ratio involved, right? Um, but yeah, it was, I still had fun, but like it's not a place that you would think a gamer would want to gravitate to. Now, on the flip side of that, I think we have the luxury of being very close to one of the, if not the largest arcade, like real um, arcade in the nation, and that's
Do we?
Galloping Ghost. And I don't know if you've ever been to Galloping Ghost.
I haven't never even heard of it until now.
Really? Well
Now I
then,
want to go.
sir. Yeah, no, seriously. You know what? Now I feel like since it's been brought up on the podcast, we need to go. That way we could talk about it again in a future podcast.
Dude,
But
I'd be down because I know I think the last like arcade bar ish that we went to was the one for a Pokemon Go tournament like 2-3 years ago, and that was a lot of fun. Like, there's a lot of people there that you had to wait your turn for a game, but like it felt like a real arcade. There was a lot of people there, well, mostly older people, and it was just a fun atmosphere. So
that's
I'm
true.
down for that.
That place. No, yeah, you're right. That place was really cool. I forgot the name of it, but that was yeah, on the north side. And so take that place
Uh,
and probably multiply it by like 12.
oh, that sounds
And
good.
that's how many arcades they have. Like it's wall to wall arcades.
Mhm.
And you go, you pay a flat fee, and you play all of them to your heart's content. Um, it's located in I don't know if it's Lyons. No, is it Lyons or Brookfield? Anyways, I know exactly where it's at. Is all I could tell you. It's
Okay,
not that far. It's well, probably farther for you than me, but it's
probably the same.
between us. Yeah. Um, yeah, we should go.
I'm
I
down.
haven't been there. I haven't been there in a minute. So since we're talking about arcades and different styles of arcade, this is like your true arcade. Like a lot of their say celebrities or whatever. Like they'll make a trip there if they're like in town because it's that popular. I don't know what their pricing is nowadays,
I mean, if it's
but
all
there's
access pass, just one time fee for like even if it's like $40, that sounds like a good deal.
yeah, I don't even think it's that much if I'm being honest. I think it's probably even less than half that amount, maybe. But it's been a minute since I've been there. But you're talking, probably name it arcade, it'll be there. They'll have like old school NES games in arcades like 1942 or the original Mario Brothers. You'll have Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, 3 Ultimate, etc., etc. You name it, it'll probably be there. Matter of fact, if something isn't there, then you'll probably be upset.
I wonder if they would have. So I'm not. Obviously, it's an old game and probably not a popular one. It's called, I think it's like Retro City Rampage or Rampage. It's like you have Godzilla, King Kong. They're fighting each other. Whoever destroys the most building wins.
I know they probably definitely have the Rampage game, but the Godzilla one, I don't know, but probably they have a
Okay.
lot. They have a lot of arcades there.
I know that was like one of the weird ones that I played just because it was fun, like versus somebody else, and whoever could be the most destructive is the winner.
Like another game that's in that same ensemble is I think it was like Rocket Man. Remember that one? Kind of same format, I think, right? Like kind of like fight other dudes but in like downtown elements and destroying crap and stuff. But yeah, we'll have to figure that one out.
That's pretty cool. I know, like last episode, and I know we talked about this earlier today as well. But last episode we were talking about like New Year's resolutions and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm,
And one of the things I want to do is actually kind of revolves around this, is because
mm-hmm,
recently I've been trying to find more people to do more things with because I know you've moved further away, so it's more difficult for us to meet up. But I've been trying to find more people to like do board games, like Warhammer, Dungeons and Dragons, just do other stuff, even card stuff like trading. Because I know you said you wanted to do Pokemon stuff, which I've been looking
mm-hmm,
for as well. Not that I want to collect, just to see and play.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, and I've seen some people and they're telling me about things in downtown that I didn't even know about. I'm like, I've gone to downtown so many times, it's just I somehow magically passed up certain shops.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool, because of my willingness to get out there. I've been branching out to more people and seeing what's out there, and hopefully soon I'll be able to go to more places like that. Because, you know, like you said, we have probably one of the biggest arcades in the nation. I didn't realize how much Chicago really has, because when I think of Chicago, I just think of a boring place, just city, business, whatever. But we do have a lot of cool stuff. Like recently, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, I went to downtown and I went to my first real comic book shop. And
Hmm.
I was shocked in how big it was. I went with a random person. He was showing me around, and I ended up picking up a couple because I thought usually comic books are expensive, like $20, $15. I bought like four of them for like $5,
Hmm.
and I was like, this
Oh
place
yeah,
is
for
kind of
sure.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. Since like we lived more on used to live on the south side. I used to live on the south side. Those type of places are hard to come by, right? Like do they exist? Yeah, but they're so like small, right? You don't get enough variety. Um, so to your point, like once you start going more towards the north side, there are more larger shops, and some of them in their own right are a little bit more famous as well. Um, but I've never been the comic book guy, as I've stated multiple times. Um, but they're still just fun to go to. I mean, just being a nerd. I mean, we're like, although we're video game nerds, probably through and through, but I still always appreciate other fandoms and other nerddoms, if that's even a word. Yes, I'm coining it right now. But even just getting lost in the comic shop, knowing that I'm not probably gonna leave with anything, is just still kind of cool.
Yeah, I think the only reason why I bought stuff is because they were related to Batman.
Oh, okay,
Because
nice.
I like to watch movies, the shows, and all that stuff like Marvel, DC, but
Mm-hmm.
like the comic books I never really got into. But I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
they got cool artwork, they look cool, and one of them follows the it's not the Injustice story, but it's the Death of a Family story, I think it's called, where Robin dies. So I
Mm.
picked up some of those, and I thought they were cool. I was looking through the pages. I'm like, man, these are cool. Like, I don't know if you want to call them graphic. Well, they're comic books, but they look like cool graphic novels for me.
Yeah, I don't. I think like the only ones I own were like promotional items, or the only one that I have bought, although it's not a real comic. I mean, it's a real comic, but it's a hard book comic. And that's Speaking about Batman, is Batman and Ninja Turtles. So I was like, I still haven't even read it, but I was like, oh, I want this one. Like, I need this one. But it's a hard book version. I thought about once upon a time trying to get the original manga versions of the Pokemon comics, but I never went down that rabbit hole. Um, so I heard like those were actually kind of decent as well. I don't know if they have any value. Maybe they do, but I wasn't really looking for it for value. It was more or less for my own. Like most real comic book people, they'll actually read it. I think some of the hardcore people, like one of my friends, will buy two, one straight for
Reading and one for display.
yeah, or one for safekeeping or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean that's really cool. And then not to kind of well, I want to reverse for a second, go back to the arcade really quick, and then also touch on something that you mentioned, segueing into that. But first off, going back to arcades, I don't know if you ever had this dream as a child, but I did, and dare I say I still kind of do. But I always wanted to have an arcade wherever the fuck I lived. Currently, I still don't have one.
When you say have an arcade, are you talking about own one or just play one?
Own one, and,
Okay.
and that could be twisted a little bit as well nowadays, because they do have those, what they call arcade ones or
Yeah,
arcade up ones or
one up
something.
machines.
Yeah, which yeah, they're cool, but they're not a real arcade. Like I want a coin op one. Like if you're gonna play it, you gotta throw some fucking quarters in there. like I want a real coin op one. And my question is, A, did you ever dream of that? And B, if you did, which one would you have wanted?
Well, so I've never wanted a coin one, just because I've always got annoyed with those. Even though some of the games are fun, but one of the ones I did want is, well, like I guess they kind of did get adapted into like actual video game format for like the PlayStation Move and all that stuff. But it was House of the Dead and Terminator, whatever. I think it was called Salvation, whatever. They're like gun games, and you just shoot around the screen and you kill
I
people.
remember that one. Yeah, yeah,
I
for
just like
sure.
playing those. Those are like stupid fun for no reason.
Yeah, no, you're right. I do remember. I didn't spend like a lot of quarters on it, but I do remember playing that one. That one was a fun one. I think Jurassic Park had a similar one where you sit in the in the car, and it kind of like moved a little bit, but that would be way too fucking lavish. But for me, I think it was always either probably one or two, either the original TMNT 2 or TMNT Turtles in Time. I just remember spending stupid amount of quarters just with either myself or friends, just playing through the whole game, just getting through the whole game. Um, and I know recently the one I almost pulled the trigger on, which is those arcade up ones or whatever they're called. They released the Simpsons one, which kind of plays a lot like that
Wait,
Ninja
Hit and
Turtles
Run
game.
or another one?
I'm sorry.
Which one, Hit and Run or something else?
No, no, no. I was just saying it plays like the Ninja Turtle game,
Oh,
but it's
I thought you
Simpsons.
said there was a Simpsons game. I didn't. I was trying to
Yeah,
figure out which one.
yeah. It was a Simpsons arcade game, but it plays just like the Ninja Turtle side scroller beat 'em up ones.
Hmm.
It probably is made by the same company, but they released that one with the one ups cabinets, and I was really close to pulling the trigger, but I never did. So well, maybe I still will. But I just don't like the whole miniature cabinet arcade idea.
Oh no,
Like, yeah, I
those
mean,
suck.
yeah, and that's what they are, right? They're
Well,
miniature.
it depends on what you're looking for because they do have like the full big boy ones, like they're
Oh,
like
for
five,
sure.
6 feet, whatever you sit down on them, and those are
Yeah.
like $300, I think, or
Oh
maybe
no,
more.
no, 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 no. I think they're a lot more than that. The miniature ones that we're talking about are the ones that are like $300.
I'm gonna look this up now. I mean, you're probably
Yeah,
right
there's
because I remember they had big ones. I just don't remember how much they were.
usually bigger one. Well, okay, maybe over time, maybe they have gone down, but like I remember big ones sometimes costing over $1,000. So, but those arcade ones do tend to cost like a few $100.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. So, okay, it depends on the game because I'm looking at them now. They do have an infinite game table that's 32 inches. That's like $900. They do have like the major ones like NFL Blitz,
Hmm.
Midway Legacy, like the Mortal Kombat stuff, and the Atari collection. Those are the big ones. They're about $500 to $400. But they do have some that are $1,000, and they also have like the little ones that are like 2 feet tall or like a foot tall, and then you play with your thumbs.
Oh fuck that! No,
And but those are like sixty
that's
dollars,
like
and I don't like those.
micro versions. No, definitely would not use those. No.
Oh, they do have So they also have coin operated ones too. You don't have to use actual quarters. They come with like a set. The quarter. They come with custom coins. They get put in and open them up yourself. They have a Killer Instinct Arcade Machine Pro Series Edition for $1,000, full size, and it comes with over 30 coins.
Oh fuck that, man! Real quarters. What's wrong with real quarters?
What happens if you run out of your quarters?
Or maybe I get one of those like card swipes installed that will you have to load money into like a PayPal.
And that'd be your save bank whenever you need more
Yeah,
money, you just pull out of that.
exactly. Like, hey, you guys want to come over and play some Killer Instinct? Or load your card, please. That's cool. No, yeah, like the other one too. I wouldn't mind. Although this would be more like um, it's like the tabletop piece of original Pac-Man. Well, actually, Mrs. Pac-Man. I always thought Mrs. Pac-Man was better than Pac-Man. But those are really expensive. Like those cost usually a couple grand for a nice pristine one.
Well, if you're talking about
Those
like
are
an
those
OG
are
one,
sleep.
yeah, those are
Yeah,
expensive. But the
yeah.
one up
We're
ones are not that bad. It's like $500
no, the
or
one
three
up
hundred
ones are
dollars.
obviously very reasonable, um, but I would like a classic, real fucking heavy duty one. But anyways, I just wanted to pose that question since we were talking about arcades.
I
And then the
would.
other,
Sorry, before you move on, I wish I knew that before because there's a Salvation Army that's on Harlem that I've
uh-huh.
gone to, and they actually had 4 arcade machines, real OG arcade machines. I don't know if they worked. They were selling them for $80, but I'm assuming they didn't work because they were pretty cheap. But if you figure out how to restore arcade machines, you could probably get an OG one for cheap if you can restore it. I know you gotta do
Yeah,
like motherboard stuff and all that stuff, but
yeah.
it's
But
possible.
I know there's websites out there that are dedicated to purchasing those type of things, like the motherboard, and then whatever games you want to then install or what have you. I mean, I'm not fluid, obviously, in that realm, but talk about like little itty bitty hobbies. That probably wouldn't be a bad one. Be a bad one right there. But But then as you segued out of the arcade talk and talking about like, kind of like hobbies and stuff too, like you mentioned the card thing. And just really as of in between podcasts here, I was, I mentioned that I don't grade my cards, right?
Hmm.
Um, I might finally do it for the first time. Just to see. Maybe do like a dozen. And then the reason why also too, like, well, okay, there's a couple things. One, it is fucking pricey.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like I knew it was pricey before, but like now I researched it a little bit further. Like whatever your declared value of that card is falls under a certain tier. And then whatever that tier is how much you need to pay. Um so I think the cheapest tier every card is like I want to say it was like $18. Like it's a lot. And I'm like, fuck man, like how do I mean I guess the hardcore people are the ones that are making the money, right? And they can afford it. But um I was like, maybe I'll try a dozen. I know that's almost a couple $100, but maybe I'll try a dozen. Like I definitely want to get my Rainbow Charizards graded just to see like if any of them do come a perfect 10.
That'll come
But
back
then
four or below.
oh no, that definitely won't happen. No, I cannot foresee them being anything less than a 9. I really can't. Like if it's not a 10, it's gonna be 9, and it'll be equally as heartbreaking. But no, I think they're pretty good condition cards. But with that said, I want to do that. I think I want to try that. But then also here's where my anxiety part comes in is because I know how to pack them for shipping, and plus they kind of give you tutorials too. But God forbid if that shipment gets fucking destroyed or damaged, like that would be so heartbreaking. I'd be so upset, and that's kind of why I've avoided all these years because like my collection is my collection, right? Like will I ever sell or flip certain ones? Yeah, but the market has become so also toxic, right? Because there's so many fakes out there and shit. So like now eBay, like they themselves have their own grading service, or at least maybe they don't grade them, but they say, oh, this is a legit card. So they kind of do their own appraisals now. Um, and if I'm ever gonna get rid of them, I guess I'm gonna have no choice but to do something. So,
Well,
anyways, I just wanted to share that.
to give you a little peace of mind, because I did know somebody that did it. He was a guest on our podcast, Codtooth, or he was Codtoothless. I think he went by the Badger story, but
Mm-hmm.
he did it, and he paid a hefty amount for it because I think there's a package deal where you could send in cards, but they're also insured too. So if you do ship them and you take videos and pictures, if they
Mm-hmm.
are damaged, they will get something very similar like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll save it. But if you're gonna get anxiety from grading cards, it shouldn't be from shipping. It should be from the wait time. He sent his in
Oh
before they
no,
blew
that doesn't
up,
bother me.
and it almost took him 2 years to get him back, and he paid for one like the highest, like expedited versions of it.
Yeah, and I think when he was on, we kind of briefly discussed that. Like COVID just turned that shit upside down, and for a multitude of reasons, for just the simplicity of the hobby just went bananas, and then the other part was the plastic
Oh,
raw
shortage.
material
Yeah.
shortage. But with that said, it still will take time. But I think now the turnaround time, well, it's all estimated, of course, but you're still looking at like 3 to 4 months for sure. But once again, with tracking, you could then find out like they received it, they confirmed that it's not damaged. So once it's in their hands, feels okay. Now mine is just simply from my point to their point. Now you also said something does happen, like you do get it insured and everything, but to that point, like for example, like one of the cards that I want to get graded is a wrestling card, and it's the black parallel, which is a 1/1, so it's the only one printed. So if that fucking card were to get damaged, that's the only card in existence, and then it'll just be poof gone, and that would be shitty. Like it would fucking suck.
I could be wrong because I've never done that, but if it's insured, wouldn't they have to go with the company and get another one reprinted that's that only one on one? Because I know they've done that with statues before, where it was limited make. There was like 50 of them. Some of them did break, and they had to remake those statues, but with the same number, and they never made any more after that because they're insured. I
I
don't know if that how
I
it works.
don't I don't know. I'm going to answer probably no. I think the fight what happens is, like I said, you put a declared value, what you think that card is worth. Doesn't necessarily mean that that is what it's worth, but you put that. Then I think if it gets damaged, that's where the fighting begins. Where it's like, well, this is what I insured it, so this is what I want for it, and they could probably be like, well, we don't think it's worth that, blah blah. We'll give you this. It's like, no, f you. I think it's worth this. So I think that's all that really happens in those cases, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
I could be totally wrong. I'm sure there's examples galore on the internet, and I'm sure I could find them probably on Reddit and stuff. So, but you know what? Like I said, I had that had slash still have that anxiety, but I feel like I, for the first time, would like to overcome that and just finally send about a dozen and just see how it turns out. And who knows? Maybe that might dare I say reinvigorate the hobby for me, but like because I haven't really been buying that much. If I have been, it's mostly been Pokemon, which um, I love the artwork that they have. So, but uh, but yeah, who knows? We'll see.
So who will you get him graded by? Will you get him by the
PSA.
TC PSA?
Yeah,
Because
PSA.
I know they have like two people, right? Or is that just for video games?
They have no, they have like, oh man, I don't know how many, but there's because of the whole COVID thing and PSA was backed up because they just had a slew of problems. Um, like other companies just kind of came out of the woodwork and tried. Dare I say, maybe some of them have successfully made themselves reputable. I don't know, but
I know one of
but
them was definitely. So I'm not sure if you follow the video game grading thing, but there is a company called WADA. It was like
no,
PSA, but they were like the second version. They came up, they were successful, and it
okay,
turns out they were purposefully manipulating the market of like the prices. So they purposely inflate value so they can
mm-hmm.
make more cut, the percentage cut from their auctions.
Oh wow,
Yeah. So I wonder
that's
if those secondhand ones that do rise up, or if they're shady, or if they might actually be better than the original. Because I know PSA does video game grading as well, but like you said, because it
correct.
backed up, others did rise. But then
Yeah,
they also fell because they were doing shady stuff.
yeah, yeah. No, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure maybe PSA has had their share of bad rep or something, but I, for me, growing up, like they were the first company, so it's like I feel like going with them it would be the way to go. Plus, like their slabs, as they're called, when they put them in the hard plastics and put the tag on it, I feel like it's clean. It's it's original, right? It's like it's the OG. So Beckett's looks nice too, but Beckett's I don't like Beckett because they're more they scrutinize a little bit more. I guess I think their grading's harder because they do like 0.25 systems, so you could get a 9.75 or 9.5 or whatever. Um, but I did one trend that I have noticed is like if you get a perfect 10, um, then they give you what's called the black label for the grading, and like if you have a card that has the black label, like it's just going to blow everything else out the water as far as money's concerned because it's just so rare to even get one like that.
What
But
one thing we should do, and this goes back to the arcade stuff too. I know
mhm,
they have conventions in
yes,
Chicago. Well, not in Chicago, but like in Illinois and all that stuff,
yes,
where they
hmm
have people like sell cards and all that stuff, and graded cards. We
hmm
should go there. You have one of your cards that you think is valuable that you're not going to get graded. Go in there, see if you could do like a trade up thing, and constantly
hmm
trade up to get a better card, and see how that works for you, or see how far you can go by trading.
I would be interested in that. One thing that I know, and I'm guilty of this too, is people definitely tend to
Undersell,
um, no, 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 no. They tend to opposite of that. They tend to
overvalue
um,
their cards.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, you stole it right in my mouth. And rightfully so though, because you wanna protect your assets, right? Um, so that's what makes it challenging. Also too, sometimes those conventions they're looking to make money, right? I mean,
Oh, that's
trading
how it
trading
is.
could for them could result making money, especially if they think they're getting the upper hand, right? That's what makes it so challenging because they have to win the trade, right? They,
Mm.
they they won't do it otherwise. So like that would be really tough to do. Otherwise, they're just looking to sell. They're looking to eliminate inventory, and that's why like if you go on the last day, you see a lot of shit cut, a lot of prices cut in crazy amounts. I mean that's any convention because they want to go back with less luggage than they arrived with.
Yeah.
What I thought you were going to say was with these conventions, like sometimes, and this is true as well, the grading companies are there. Like
Oh, if you could do that too.
but here's the problem because I already looked at this. The next big Chicago one I think is in March. I think.
Okay.
I forgot where it's held. It might be Donald E. Stevenson Convention Center, and PSA is going to be there. But they already explicitly said on their website they're not going to do on-site grading and they're not going to take cards back with them. So why the fuck you going?
Probably
Like,
just do like a seminar on like how the grading process works.
fucking stupid. Just don't even show up. Like
Oh,
that's your bread and butter. Like
but
I
they
don't know.
also could be there to like how do you say it, facilitate like auctioning because auctioning does happen quite a bit in
That's true.
person where they
No,
look
that's
at the
true.
grading, they authenticate it, and then they auction it off and they get a cut at that as well.
Yeah, probably. That part's probably true. But yeah, no, I think actually it's funny that we're talking about this because like obviously we spent a lot of time talking about like resolutions and stuff. But I think that's another good one. Like maybe just attending more conventions
Oh,
this
dude,
year.
if I could,
'Cause-
I mean, I'm done with the card ones because even though I don't plan on buying, I do find it fascinating. But if I could find a video game one, I am 100% down because I love collecting video games. That's my
even
Pokemon
though
cards.
even though they're card conventions or even like the anime conventions or what have you, I'm sure when it comes to the exhibition halls, you probably get a little bit of variety.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that'd be cool. I mean, those things obviously cost money to go to, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but they're not
that'd be
usually
cool.
too expensive. Like they're relatively, affordable,
Yeah,
especially
they're
if you
not.
live locally.
Yeah, that's true. And that way you don't have to pay for a hotel and all that good stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But that'd be cool. Yeah, we have to look at that. If you do find one, if you do want to go to the one in March, I'd be down because I just want to walk around and see cool cards.
yeah, no, that's cool for sure. We'll look at a lot of different things. Looks like we're coming up with a list of of events and stuff already. So
Yeah, like I just want to adventure more, man. Like like I said before, I'm trying to get out there, trying to find more people to like form board game groups and all that stuff. Just because like I'm maybe it's just because it's New Year, I have the mindset for it. Like I've also, like I said, I want to continue my workout already. Well, I was gonna go today, but it closed early, so I'm 4 days in out of the 5. So next, Monday starts the second week process again. So I'm doing that. I'm playing more games again, completing more games, so that I'm happy about that because I have more free time since I'm not overworking for moving houses. Like I recently just finished the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and I know you asked if how I thought about that. I personally think the campaign is great. The multiplayer sucks still, but that's just a personal preference, so that's not a fact. But in
mhm.
my opinion, the campaign was good because I'm not sure if you're gonna like this. It plays almost like Splinter Cell. It's very stealth. You gotta scout. It's not just classic Call of Duty where
Run
it's
and
just
gun.
very linear. Yeah, blast them up. You
I mean,
actually have
but
to think about it.
the original campaign had a lot of those elements too, though.
Yeah, but this one more so with the scouting aspect. Like
Like especially when you had the levels that you had to do a lot of breaching, right? Because you really
yeah.
had to stealth through and then breach, and then you get the little moment of boom 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 boom. So
But that's all this game is. It's just breaching, clearing, and
it's all
moving.
it's all breaching.
And wait, they do it in a way where it's fun. Like I'm not sure if you ever seen the movie Sicario. Um, But that's basically what this game's about. It's about the cartel, terrorist organizations, Russia, all working together. And then also the U.S. government being involved. The story wise is good. It reminds me a lot of Sicario and how it plays. It's very secret ops kind of,
hmm
and I think that's why I enjoyed it because you had that Call of Duty feeling, but it
hmm
felt more stealth based, like a Tom Clancy game that I really
hmm
enjoyed for some reason. So I
Yeah,
liked it, but I don't know if it's worth the $6.
gotcha. And I think that was going to be my final part to that. Like like I said, I've heard the campaign is top notch, but is it worth brand new video game top notch just to play a campaign? Like it sounds silly because like a lot of games do function that way, right? Like you play for the game and there's maybe no multiplayer value to that game, but because it's known to be multiplayer, like it's almost Oppo effect. Like, yeah, but is it worth it for just a campaign? Probably not.
I would say if it was $48 and you're going just for the campaign, 100%, because
40
like
bucks.
it is kind of lengthy, and if you're going for 100%, there's a lot of replayability. Like I said, you could choose how you're gonna engage every time because it's not just same route, same whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually change your method of attacking to make it more simple for you by doing a different tactic, whatever. Um, the Spec Ops, it's not as good as the Modern Warfare 2 or 3, but it's definitely better than 2019. So Spec Ops is good. Um, I definitely like it. It's just there's not a lot of missions, and if you like PVE, they also have a raid in the game now too. So you could do this 3-player activity that's pretty large. Um, and you can earn it by just doing special ops. You don't have to play multiplayer. You don't have to play wars, and you can earn it any other way, and it's pretty easy. So if you're into like PVE stuff, then maybe it's worth $6 if you do the raid and all that. But if you're just doing the campaign, it's like $40 worth, in my opinion.
Cool. Nope. I value that opinion.
But what about you? What have you been playing this week?
This week, a whole lot of nothing, except for obviously Warcraft. Um, yeah, for Warcraft, this could change daily, and it probably has changed right now. But as I fancy myself a mount collector, and all the other kind of like um, cosmetic world items, I broke top 200 in the U.S. for mounts, which
Oh
is
wow!
kind of scary.
How do you check the stats? Is there like a leaderboard thing that you could do?
There's a site that I guess now I've kind of put my faith a little into, called Data for Azeroth,
Hmm.
and that's where they, I guess, accumulate information, and they, attach rankings. I think in the world I am 500 something, which is still pretty fucking
So,
crazy. Just to
so
think about, I don't know how many active subscribers there are right now, but I'm pretty confident they're still in the millions. I don't think they're ever going to hit 10 million again, but
oh, you never know. They might if they get the stuff together.
you know what? You're not wrong. I just don't really see it. I feel um like Final Fantasy 14 is still doing well for themselves. I don't know what their active sub rate is either, but I feel the MMO genre as a whole is, I don't want to say dying, but it's like I think people are kind of growing away from it now.
Well, I
Um,
think it. Well, I mean, you're possibly correct. I think people with MMOs they go through a point of just extreme grind and then burnout and then take a break and then come back again because
oh, for sure. I mean, I
MMO
do
is
it.
supposed to sustain you, but no matter what, even if content is the absolute best, you're always going to get burnt out. And
A
I
hundred
think that's
percent.
why the refresher period comes in. I think that's where people are at. They just need a refresher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, to your point, who knows? I think for them to reach over 10 million active subscribers again would be very remarkable. Just seeing that they've been at it for 18 years. But I'm just being honest. I don't really foresee it. But anyways, nonetheless,
Well,
that
if
was
the Activision thing goes through, I really think they can because
because
a
of the
lot.
console part.
No, well, not because of the
Oh,
console, because of Game Pass. Because Game
oh
Pass
yeah,
is
yeah.
also on PC, and that
Mhm.
means you don't have to pay monthly subscription, or at least an extra
So,
monthly subscription will just be included.
so let's use that narrative for a moment. How would you then the definition of active subscription would have to be redefined, wouldn't it? Because like you could have the Game Pass
Well, they
but
would probably
necessarily not
bundle.
log into the game. So would that then be considered an active subscription? I guess by ruling, yes, but they're not really active.
I think. Well, I mean, obviously they could do it any kind of way. Really, if they're the
Mhm,
company. I would assume that they would account it if you log in and actually play. Then they would probably count it as an active subscription. But if
mhm.
if it's just you don't play and you're playing other games, they'll probably just count it as like a Game Pass subscription. And it's just one of the bonuses is that you get
I'm
World of
sure that,
Warcraft.
yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting. But to your point, then yes, I would agree with that assessment. If that were to happen, I think I think there could be a time where it goes back. But isn't 14 part of it right now? Or no?
I don't think so. I know that there's a
No?
couple of games. I think League of Legends is one of them. Valorant is one of them. Maybe Dota, but I could be wrong on that. I have to look. I haven't really played much, Game Pass on PC, but I know that they have a whole bunch of like really popular games that I was shocked that they would have on there because most of them are free anyways. But I guess they get
Gotcha.
like character bonuses or whatever if they join through Game Pass.
Gotcha.
So
Different perks, yeah. So, yeah, with that said, I think that is definitely a possibility. But I wonder when the quarterly, like the previous quarter earnings come out, because that would then, they should be coming out probably soon, because they usually give that type of information then, like how many active subscribers are, and they should get a pretty healthy spike with the recent X-Pack release. But anyway, so that's all I've been playing.
you haven't gone back to Crisis Core at all?
I played very little bit more, not a lot. I still need to finish it. Um, but but yeah, just still wowing it up, man. Continue to wow it up.
Dude, I know I've said this before and I've said this many, many, many times. I
Hmm.
always like get the urge to play World of Warcraft because I haven't really watched you too much because usually when you stream it's early in the day and I unfortunately am busy at this time.
And
But
it's boring.
no, no, it's not boring. But you also play with a guy called IVX Ninja. His name is Chris. But
Yes,
luckily he streams later, so I've been watching him push keys and
he
all that
does.
stuff, and he's a
He
healer.
does.
And watching him play, dude, it motivates me to play, but I'm like, I don't want to pay. But I don't think the paying part isn't the problem really. I think it's I want to play too many games, and if I have to pay to play a game, then it's gonna only put me in that direction, and I don't want that. I just
That's
want to pick
fine.
up and move whenever I can, and that's
No,
like
that's
the
fine. And
struggle that I have.
you could live vicariously through us. You could cheer us on. No, but it's funny because like, I recently had a friend, and I do call him a friend because I actually have him on my contacts list. He lives out in San Diego,
San
and
Diego.
he just randomly texted me last week and was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about coming back." I'm like, "Cool." He's like, "Yeah, give me a referral so you can get some, some free shit." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So, and sure enough, he fucking bought the expansion, came back. I saw him play a couple times during the week, and I don't know if he's gonna stick with it, but like once again, and the reason why I think it means more now is because when Shadowlands came out, yes, people did flock back, but I don't think they got enough people like they did now. Like I think with Dragonflight, it's definitely been more successful, and a lot more people have come back. Not only have they come back, but they're enjoying it more. So those are all positive signs, of course. But going back to the fatigue aspect, I think they got to be very careful with that because um, it can happen, and it could turn people off.
Yeah. Yeah, World of Warcraft is just such a weird game. It's like it drives so many people to want to play it, but there's just also a lot of turn off factors too.
Speaking of conventions and speaking of World of Warcraft,
A
I'd be
Blizzard
remiss to even just mention this and Blizzard as a whole, because I know we mentioned, about. I think I don't know if I mentioned to you on the pod or not, but
going to
I did
California.
going to California, going to BlizzCon. They haven't announced it yet, but so many people are so excited and so expecting that it's going to happen on XYZ weekend. I believe it's the first weekend of November. But anyways, whatever it is, um, the hotels around where they normally hold the convention are already sold out because people are just expecting.
Well, not only
And it's
that, but like the time period that they usually do it, there's always loads of other conventions going on at the same time, so that probably plays a huge factor.
probably I can't poo poo that.
Because Anaheim
I
is basically the convention center of
Yeah,
the
for
U.S.
sure. For sure. No, no, it is. It's, I mean, where they hold it, it's right across street from Disney land.
Yeah,
So,
I've been there 3 times, and it's
yeah.
definitely always packed no matter what time you go.
Yeah, I just think like, well, like, thankfully, and sadly, the only BlizzCon I've been to was the very, very first one. So I just know like when I went, like obviously for BlizzCon it was packed, and but I don't remember a simultaneous convention going on that then during that time. Not to say that it doesn't happen all the time, because to your point, yes, there's a lot of shit always going on, but yeah, I just want to throw it out there, like, because I want to go, but if fucking hotels are already sold out, it's like, what the fuck, man? Like, what are you gonna do? Guess gotta drive like a whole hour away, you know. But
Yeah,
we'll see. Time will tell.
how much? So, if you're to speculate, how much do you think the tickets would cost? just for the
Um,
event.
for like the whole weekend pass. Ooh, that's a good question.
Because I want to know how much to save up. Because I'll be like, you just buy it, I'll pay you.
I I'm probably gonna be so fucking far off on this. I'm really pulling this number out of my
Like three
ass.
hundred dollars, $400.
120? Yeah, 120
Oh,
maybe.
120. Okay, so save up
Maybe.
for potentially 240.
Yeah, probably. But that's just strictly your weekend pass, right? And they probably have a tiered rate as well, maybe.
Oh,
Like
dude, I
I'm
want
sure
full
there's
access.
yeah, I'm sure there's like VIP versions and shit that probably will be a couple hundred. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. It's like I said, it's been a minute, and if I'm being brutally honest, I don't remember what I paid for the very first one. I just know my total trip probably cost me a couple grand. But
Oh
but
yeah,
yeah,
well that's because of plane ticket,
airfare,
airfare. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Obviously that's always gonna be more. Like I think when I went there 3 different times. One of them was because I was competitive for Call of Duty. That's cost me $2,000 because I had to pay for a teammate's ticket that eventually screwed me over on.
Ooh,
Um, Then I went there with a friend for a wedding and then also a convention that was like $3,000. So yeah, they can be pretty expensive even if you're only going for like 3 or 4 days.
yeah, yeah. But I'm ready for it. I'm due for a splurge like that. So
um, yeah, dude, I'm already like trying to save up now because like even if it doesn't happen, that's fine. At least I'll have money somewhere saved up. But like I'm trying to save up now because like I really do want to go. Even if I don't play World of Warcraft right now, I still love it. Like I still watch stuff. Even like Diablo. Even though I don't pick it, I'm not gonna pick up 4.
Mhm.
I still probably will watch it.
are you sold that you're not gonna pick up or play for it at all, or do you think when it
Well, I'm
does
not gonna
finally
get
come
it
out
on
that you might?
release. So I know for a fact I'm not gonna get it on release, but maybe if it's
Uh
like on a
huh.
sale or whatever, I'll probably pick it up then. Because
Uh
that's
huh.
usually what I do with the other ones. Especially if
Gotcha.
it comes to console. Because I know when Diablo 3 came out, I purposely waited because I heard rumors that there was gonna be like a DLC and a complete condition or a complete version. And
Mm-hmm.
so I waited for that one to come out, and then I bought the death version that came with whatever the angel guy is.
Material. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'll probably just do the same. Just wait to see if there's a sale, or if there's rumored DLC. Then I'll probably wait for the complete edition and buy it then.
Cool.
What
Cool.
about you?
I'll probably buy it. I just don't know how much I will play it. Like I'll probably do the campaign thing right away. Even though I don't really know much about the story, but I just also love cutscenes. And Diablo will have their fair share of
Dude, they
probably
make the
very
best
beautiful
cutscenes.
cutscenes. Um, but all signs are pointing that this is gonna be a fucking pretty good game, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not overhyped and then underperforms or whatever.
Yeah,
Not underperformed, but just under like
it's
just
one of
not that
those.
good. Flop, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
I don't think it's gonna be a flop. Like looking at Diablo 2 Resurrection, that was pretty good. Even though it was a remake of the second one, that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good. Diablo 3 was still really good. I think that when it comes to like the main title games, that's why they always take their time with it. They like to make sure it's just fully cooked and ready to go. Because like so
That's
far from
true.
what I see in the gameplay, because they had pre-alpha footage and all that stuff of all these different classes, and a
Mhm.
lot of them look fantastic.
Oh yeah, like I seen it's been a while, so probably the new stuff even looks even better and more tuned. But I was watching like I think it was Barbarian footage, and I'm like, man, like that looks really nice.
Yeah,
So we'll see.
I can't remember. Do they have the Crusader? Because like that was like one of my favorite things was the
Crusader, I
Crusader.
think, was an expansion character on three. I don't know if it was the first or second expansion. But I never played it. For me, first off, I got it for free because being a WoW player, they're like, here you go. I'm like, thank you. I guess I'll try it. I've never played a Diablo before, so I did. And then, I've said this before. The real money auction house thing was very attractive to me, and that's what I played it for. I, dare I say, played the shit out of it, but I kind of did up until they got rid of the real money auction house, and I'm like, done. It was fun. And then the expansions came out, and I never finished any of those campaigns or well even started if I'm being honest because I didn't buy them. So
Dude, Diablo has one of the weirdest histories with me, and I'm not sure if you ever played it. Um, Diablo is probably one of the reasons why I'm able to play hard mode in any game, because they
Mm.
have a version where it's called One Life, where you have
Yep,
to go.
hardcore mode.
Yeah,
Yep,
so you have to go through the game as far as you can without dying, and if you die, you permanently lose that character.
I love it.
And because of that, especially playing at such a young age, like I think they had it for Diablo 2, and I was like 6 years old playing that game. That taught me patience, anger control, and how to slowly like work your way through levels.
So they had it in 3.2. I just can't remember if it was there at launch or not, but obviously I stood away from it. I was like, oh, hell no, I ain't touching this. Because I didn't even know how to play the game. But, like, I love that concept. I really do love that concept. It's just so cool. The only part that sucks about that concept is, God forbid you lag. Because if you lag and you get one shot, then that fucking sucks, man.
Dude, it's funny that you say that, because there was like, when Diablo 3 was like really hot. There was a streamer I was watching. They have like something called seasons, but they also have like a
Yep.
hardcore season where you have to
Yep.
play that one character as long as you possibly can during that season.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing with two others, and for some reason there was like a massive wide lag on all three of their parts, and they died to just normal ads. And all
Mm.
all three of them had like the best rage moment I've ever seen, just because they were just flipping out, tossing keyboards, all that stuff. They're like, I can't believe the game just lagged on me and I'm dead.
Yeah, that I think like especially if it was like on Blizzard's end, right, in their servers, like they should do like a rollback.
Oh, 100%. I think I'm not sure what they did, because I think a lot of people had the issue because it's like one of those like disconnected, reconnected issues,
Mm-hmm.
and but for some reason it didn't kick him from the game. But
Mm-hmm.
everybody got hit with that, and they died because of that reason. And
Mm-hmm.
it was just like one of those like moments in like gaming in my moment. Like it's like Leroy Jenkins, where everybody just
Yeah,
like flips out and rages for that one
yeah,
reason.
I would say rightfully so because that's gotta suck, man, so bad. But the other thing with the hardcore mode is, and this might be my lack of education, is as much as I like I said, I adore the idea and I think it's badass. For me as a player, from a player standpoint, I don't think there's any reward, right, for doing that mode and being successful in that mode.
Oh no, it's definitely a personal
It's
satisfaction
it's
skill.
it's just yeah, exactly. So like that was the reason why I never toyed with it. I did in the end. I started a barbarian because I felt the barbarian was the tanky one and was able to withstand such maybe a lag. And I didn't get it to max level. I think I got it to like 40 something. I think max was still 60 at the time. But it was still fun. Like it was like it just puts you on edge all the damn time, sweaty as shit. And I loved it. It was cool. It almost makes me think like, if they were to do that in WoW. Like
So many people would be like making alts just because they don't want any characters that they feel bad about deleting.
it's like I could see myself trying it in WoW. But when it comes to raiding, oh boy. Oh boy, you better watch out.
Dude, that would make raiding and Mythic Pluses more entertaining. Like, imagine like they let you clone your character, and that season you have to play that one character, and if you die, you're done. You're just automatically locked out that season.
That would be
Um,
cool. As long as you could start it up, as long as you have another life on the next season, I think that'd be pretty fucking badass.
like it would make strategy testing so much more like fine tuned, because like I mean I say this all the time. I like to watch the Mythic Plus runs that they do on the WoW channel, and I think
Yeah,
it's cool because a lot of them do insane skips that I've never even thought of, and they know how to pull certain packs. I would love to see how their strategies would work if you
it
only
would
had one
change.
life. Like how passive they would be if there's no timer. They just took their time and
Yeah,
just slowly tanked it forward.
but the thing that sucks about even that aspect is like, if one person dies and let's say the other guys don't want to die and they just like run off and they were able to get away, now they're still fucked because they lost their friend.
Yeah, but how much more hype would you be to see like like a 3-man squad just going through somehow clearing all these dungeons just by pure perseverance and determination to get it done.
Yeah, I mean it would be fun to watch. It definitely would be fun to watch. Like I watch it rarely now, but I think that would definitely probably captivate me more for sure, 100%.
We need to pitch this to Blizzard just for like a temp idea. Just do it once, see how
Oh
it is, and
man,
then go with it. Because hey, it seems like they're trying a lot of things out now, so maybe they might be interested. Because I know they're doing more community games, which they might not be run the best, but they're still entertaining for what they are. And obviously, I know they're doing more PvP content. Like I know they're doing like the arena stuff that they always do, but I think they're starting to do like what's it called, mix and match mode or whatever, where you
uh,
get like these random guys and it's
yeah,
just keep battling over and over again with
yeah,
random teams.
yeah. It's called the solo shuffle, and matter of fact, there's been issues with it, but they're going to address it a little bit come this Tuesday with the next patch. Because the issues they're having with it now are people that do leave because they're losing the first two rounds or whatever. There's no they're not getting penalized for it enough. So they're going to address that more on Tuesday, where if they leave early before the 6 rounds are completed, they will get docked more points for, or the amount of points they would get for losing out when they leave. So yeah, so
Hopefully it's like a consistent thing because like obviously there's some people that leave because they have to leave, like emergencies or whatever. So hopefully
for
it's like
sure.
they get a one-time free pass, but if they do it like two times and then they get dinged.
Yeah, to that point, I'm not too sure if there is at least a one free pass thing. I'm thinking there's not because it has become somewhat of a systematic problem. But to your point, yeah, I mean, there are obviously real life emergencies that happen. There's no doubt. But um, fortunately, if you have that emergency, I guess you're gonna get docked.
Yeah. So I before we move on from the game stuff, I
Uh-huh.
know that we recently talked about Among Us. Obviously, I would still like to play that
Yes.
game,
Yeah.
but as you were saying earlier, from like the TMNT like arcade stuff, have you
hmm
thought about buying the Shredder's Revenge or TMNT collection, the Cowabunga collection?
The Cowabunga collection, I don't think you could get anymore. I think it's officially been
Oh,
dare
pulled.
I say retired? Yeah, like they've already sold because I think that was a pre-order system. I mean, I think they had a maximum allotment, but it was also a pre-order system. I looked at it and got close to impulse buying it, but dare I say I'm glad I didn't because I not to say I would have regretted it, but things like that. It's like there's a lot of cool stuff in there, but what once again, what would I really have done with it? Like maybe I would have threw the shredder figurine on my shelf back here, but like yeah,
Nope. It's
um,
you can still buy it.
you
It's
can still come
actually
out.
pretty cheap now. If you buy it digitally, it's cheaper. But even the new version right now, it's only $40, and that's for the new.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you said Cowabunga edition, I immediately thought like the collector's edition because they had like a $200+ collector's edition one that
Oh,
came with like a bunch of shit.
yeah, they
You're just
still.
talking about straight. You're just talking about straight the game. No,
Yeah.
I'd probably buy the game. I think I probably that one. I wonder if I should buy that one digitally. I don't normally buy digital games, but that one probably wouldn't be a bad one.
Because I know one of them. I can't remember if it was like Shredder's Revenge or if it's the Cowabunga collection. Because the Cowabunga collection has like three or four TMNT games mixed into one.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I was getting it twisted. Yeah, you're right. Cowabunga Collection is the one that has like the older games bundled
Yeah.
together. Shredder's Revenge is the newer arcade style game that's inspired by the original ones. I wanted to get the Shredder's Revenge. That's what I wanted to get.
Yeah, supposedly, well, I think it might be Shredder's Revenge. I could be wrong, but supposedly one of them, like the co-op, is like really good. Like it's like four-player co-op, but there's like eight different characters you can choose from.
Yes. Yep. Because you could play as Splinter, April, probably
Casey,
Casey,
yeah.
and I don't know who the fourth
Isn't Bebop
one.
and Rocksteady as playable characters as well, like a DLC one? Like you could play as like
Oh,
them.
that I don't know. I
Because
don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it.
there's a YouTube group that I watch, or another uh there's another group that I would love to collaborate with in the future for the podcast. Their name is Level 587, and they play the or I think Shredder's Revenge, and I was watching them play co-op, and dude, that game looked so much fun. I was like, I know you like it. I'm like, if you're interested in it, then maybe I'll buy it too, and then we could play co-op, and then maybe get some other people on there because I know it's like 4 players, so it'd just be fun to just beat them up and move forward.
Oh yeah, no, like to me that's like I said, that's harping on my childhood right there, that type of style game. So yeah, I would love it.
Yeah,
I'll look into it. And once again, like I said, I'm big on still having the physical games, but that one it might be a sacrifice to just get digitally.
yeah. I think I still have to figure that out too, because like I obviously I got a whole shelf of video games right there.
Hmm.
So I don't know if I want to buy it digitally or buy it physical, because like the physical artwork looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I think like I said, if I would have splurged and got a collector's edition, then obviously that comes with the physical one. But I'll double check because I think it was I forgot if it was Limited Run was doing that one or if it was it I am 8-bit. One of those two were the ones that were selling that one.
Yeah, I mean, well, honestly, if you actually really do want the collector's edition, that retro game store I was telling you about back in the game, they actually have a collector's edition that they've been trying to sell for a while. It's like $249. But no one's bought it yet, and it's still like brand new. No one's opened it. It's not secondhand. So
Yeah,
if
but
you want it, I know where that's at.
that's the yeah, that's the original price though. So,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, I guess
obviously.
if I'm paying the original price and it's not like I'm paying more, but I don't know, we'll see. But also, what platform is it? Because
It's
remember they
PS5.
oh, it is PS5. Okay.
Yeah, they were trying to get me to, because they know that like buying games. Like,
Wait, so
hey,
they got it already? I didn't even know they shipped them yet.
well, so because they're a individual store, they actually had to buy supplies themselves and then just hold it in their inventory. It's just unfortunate nobody's bought it.
Yeah, no, it's pricey. I mean, look, I just pre-ordered the FF16 one, and that one was that's the most I spent on a collector's edition so far. So,
Dude, some of the collector's editions recently, like God of War Ragnarok, really tempted me because I really wanted the Mjolnir hammer. But there's another game that's coming out because, like I said, I'm getting into Warhammer and all that stuff. They're
uh,
making Space Marines 2 that's coming out this year, I believe. And they
mhm.
have a collector's edition for like $250, $300. And it comes with like a 12, 16-inch statue, whatever, of like a Marine, just blasting through Xenos. And I'm like, dude, if I had the money right now, well, I do have the money, but like, I don't know if I want to spend that much money just for the statue aspect of it.
Yeah, like the coolest, and I don't remember what it costed. Maybe it was $200. I think the coolest one, and I forgot which one it was, but it was one of these two. It was Modern Warfare 2, I think. The original Modern Warfare 2 came with night vision goggles. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I actually have that. I also have
You still have them?
I have the 2019 version as well. Unfortunately, the night vision's over there. I also
Oh,
have
okay.
the Call of Duty Ghost night vision one as well with the video thing on it as well. It does 1080p. I
Oh
have
shit!
the
I didn't even know they had
RCXD
all that.
drone. I have the
The drone was Modern Warfare 3, right? I think.
no Black Ops 2.
Oh, Black Ops 2.
I
Okay.
also have the RCXD car from Black Ops 1. I have forget what Black Ops 3 had. I don't think. Oh, sorry. I think Modern Warfare 3 didn't have one. They just had a collector's edition with the season pass because I have the elite card that comes with it.
Maybe, maybe.
But I have all the collector's editions. Like I have the Juggernaut
There,
fridge, the mystery
and
box, all
one of
that
them
stuff.
also had like, because I know the drone one was a helicopter, but didn't they also have one that was like a Jeep controlled one, but also had a camera?
Well, yeah,
No,
that's
maybe.
the RCXD one. That
Oh,
was for
okay,
Black Ops
okay.
One. It was like a little racing car and it had like a
Yeah,
pretend C4 on it. Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
yeah. They
Yeah, I
they had
thought
some
that
cool
was.
ones. It just sucks that they don't do it anymore. Probably
Yeah,
for good reasons because I'd be broke getting that.
yeah. But collector's editions are good thing I don't play many console games anymore. Let's put it that way. Like, yes, WoW consumes me, but sometimes it's for a good reason. If you can see the shelves behind me, I'd be splurging. I'd be in debt.
Yeah, you know what, dude? Maybe I'll pick it up for a month again. I'll have to buy Dragonfly because I haven't bought it, but I really do regret not buying the collector's edition because I do like those little boxes. Maybe I might be able to pick one up on eBay. Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, I think over time, unless the popularity kind of sustains slash skyrockets, um, I think you'll find on eBay for a reasonable price, or if not retail price. I don't think I'll foresee that one going any higher.
Yeah, I think maybe if I coming soon, hopefully I'll have a lot more money. I think I might save and just buy the whole collection. Like obviously I have the games up until Shadowlands, but I meant what that'd be like $600 just for the whole set.
Um, an unused set? No,
No,
but
no,
a
for
used set?
used.
Yeah,
Because
probably.
obviously
You,
I don't
you,
need the
you
CD because
probably.
I already have them.
That's true. No, yeah, you could probably. I would say that's probably a reasonable price range. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just like the artwork of the boxes. Like they're cool display pieces. I will give them that. They are cool. I like them. I finally found three of the miniature ones. I have the Cataclysm. Is that what it's called? What expansion was that? I have that,
That's
Mr. Pandaria, and I have Wrath of the Lich King. Because I threw away two of the collector's edition boxes because I'm an idiot, but I still have
mm,
the smaller version that came inside,
mm-hmm,
and I have those in my closet.
mm, gotcha.
So that's my
Yeah.
list.
Cool.
But do you want to move on to the first topic?
Let's do it.
All right. Whoops, I had number three topic up, but I guess people get to see that. Um, so I know last episode I talked about this a little bit, and I figured out a way how to talk about it without spoiling because I know you potentially want to see it too. It's Witcher Blood and Origins. I watched it. I'm not gonna say I hated it. Obviously, my gripes with it is the casting choice. I feel like the connection that they had, the chemistry, just wasn't there, and also because it's 4 episodes, I feel like the relationships they were trying to build just weren't able to come across because of how quick they're moving through. But as I say, I have some dislikes with it. I don't think it deserves the hate it's been receiving. For
Mhm,
people that have audio only, I currently have a screen up for Rotten Tomatoes. People are saying this is like one of the worst shows ever made. It has a critic score of 32%, and it has an audience score of 13%, which are both extremely low.
mhm,
And I think for story wise for The Witcher, it's good because they show the fall of Zentria, which is the elf mage capital of the world. They show the conjunction of the spheres. You know how all these monsters and all these the humans and all stuff come to this one world, which I thought was cool.
mm,
Um, like I said, the negative is that they didn't really get a chance to show I think his name is Sindril. Basically, the guy that helped construct these obelisks to make the conjunction happen. They should
mm.
delve a little bit more to him, but instead, I feel like they're trying to figure out what they wanted to tell. And I think that's where the problem with the storytelling comes in, is because they're trying to focus on connections that unfortunately just didn't come across well.
Do you think they focused on too many things? Was
I,
part of the problem too.
I I think they might have focused on too many things in a episode span that was too short. I think
Yeah, of course.
if it had 12 episodes, they could easily flesh the characters out. I think they could easily flesh the story out because they did touch on the main points. They showed the fall of Centrea. They showed chaos magic being introduced. They showed the conjunction, which leads into the whole Witcher universe that the problem we're facing now. And they also showed, the Witcher elixir that they turn somebody into a beast or a monster. So they
Mhm.
show all that, they got that point across. It's just I think connection wise where they lose a lot of people, but I don't think it's really a show that deserves the massive hate that's been receiving. Like, is it great? No, but it does give a lot of good backstory to what's happening now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, and I will, maybe, shit, maybe I'll try to do it this weekend. But like, I definitely do want to watch it. Um, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. Despite hearing your criticism, and I haven't really read a lot, but um, and I'm trying not to as well, of course, because I don't want to be spoiled, even though it's stuff that's probably already out there. But like, I don't know, like the thing that irks me about it all is the fact that it is just 4 episodes. Like, it's just a fucking tease. I think just to have 4 episodes, like like I know what they want to accomplish, right? I think we know that it's fucking called Origin, but with anything, just to have 4 episodes, it's just like it's such a bad appetizer.
Yeah, and oddly enough, the main parts that they kind of want to show, they do in one episode. Like they didn't need the other three to show it. They just went like
Mm,
if they made it a movie, they probably could have did it. But they did 4 episodes that almost didn't seem like they mashed well together.
mhm.
And I think that's the weird part about this. Like But also, like, beside,
Did they
like,
not
go
mesh?
ahead.
I'm sorry. Did they not mesh together? Because did they also try to do some weird, similar? And I don't mean to call it weird, but you know how the Witcher program runs, where it's not really in
Oh no,
order or in sync.
it's in timeline order. Like, it goes
It
from
isn't kind of
point A to
okay.
point B. It's just
Okay.
they. So how do I say this without spoiling anything? So episode 1, 2, and 3 are basically, well, 1 and 2 is basically forming the group, which I feel
Mm-hmm.
like they could easily made into the first episode. Um, episode 3 is the conflict and motivation for the group and leading to the battle that happens in the fourth episode. And the fourth episode is when everything just goes off. You see the events that causes all these problems for the further Witcher universe that occurs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it, even though it was fast paced, I feel like some of like the group gathering could have been done one episode. Uh, Lore and certain character building could have been second episode, and then third episode it'll be like, you know, how do I say this? Like the third episode could have probably been like the lead up to the battle, but then also gives a little bit more detail on why the mages are doing what they're doing. Besides, I just want power. I'm gonna do this.
Gotcha. And the whole battle part, and then now I'm probably getting into spoilers. Uh, do they actually, erase the elf race in all this,
So
or no?
that so the elf race doesn't get erased.
Mm.
It's just during the events that happen, and I can say this because you do hear about it in the normal Witcher, so you know that they die out.
Of course, yeah.
So the first one, you see the heads of the elf clan get just like evaporated from a creature,
Mm.
and
Mm.
then that kind of leads the events building up for what's going to happen. And then these bands, the band I'm talking about, these characters are
Mm-hmm.
elves that that are remaining, and they form their alliance and try to fight whatever creatures they're trying to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the show, the elves are still there. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
over time because of what happens with the conjunction. That's when they slowly decrease in numbers.
Gotcha.
Um, yeah, that's. I think that's also another
That's,
part that's kind of weird. Is like they are trying to show too much in such a short span. Like
yeah.
even though Zentreya was a
Mm.
big part of the story with the elves, it feels like they're leading more towards the conjuncture. Really,
Gotcha.
Uh,
Yeah, because because like the show, they make it, they kind of make it like a a big like purging, right, with the elves. And I don't know if, like you said, that's assumed in the show, like it happens, or like you said, it just happens over time.
yeah, because when you watch a show, it almost throws off the concept of the elves dying out because when you look
Gotcha.
at the world, this is before the conjunction happens. That means before monsters are really introduced, before humans are introduced. It's just the world of elves.
Mm,
That's all it is. And there's
gotcha.
tons of elves. Obviously, you got different elf clans, different elf leaders, and all that stuff.
Hmm.
You'll see what happens in the show, but the
Yeah.
normal, the common elf, is still there. Like they never died out. They were just having to fight for their freedom, and they're
Hmm.
being oppressed by their own people. But
Hmm.
they still had plentiful numbers even at the end of the show. So it's almost like they show the fall of their empire, but they don't show the fall of their species. If that makes
Of the
sense.
race. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. I'll have to knock it out soonish here.
Yeah, it's just weird because like when I look at like the critics, the claims, and all that stuff.
Hmm.
One of the weird ones, and I call this out too when I see it, but they're like people are saying this is a woke disaster.
Hmm.
I'm looking at this movie or the show, and I'm like, what are they really calling woke? Like, obviously, there's a gay couple in there, and they kiss and do stuff and all that stuff. But I'm like, that to me isn't what I would consider a woke disaster. Like, that's just two characters, and they're not even a main part of the story. They're just a side part that's very little. So I'm like, some of the criticism I see is like people are calling like this all this stuff, and I'm like, did you really watch the show, or are you just trying to throw names out there?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that tends to happen a lot. But I feel like once again, I think that's the loud minority coming out once again. I feel
I would
like,
like to think that, but the ratings, it's seems like it's the majority. Like, there's over 6,000 people audience score wise rated negatively.
yeah, but did all 6,000 rating negatively because there's a gay couple in there? I don't think so.
Oh no, I think it's for the
No,
story.
that's yeah, and that's my point. Like I feel like once again, unless you sit there and read 6,000 comments, which I don't think either one of us is
No.
going to do, I feel like a lot of this disdainment is coming from the whole Cavill situation. Like, I think people are just so stupidly and obnoxiously upset that
It's
this should,
trickling over.
yeah, that's just me thinking. But what, like I said, what do I know? Um, since we are talking about Witcher, though, there has been no date set at all for season 3 yet, right? I
They
don't think so.
had something at some point. I don't know because of the recasting and the scheduling if they changed, but I think it was
Uh-huh.
either scheduled for the end of this year or early next year.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I mean, the last one came out, during winter time or Christmassy time.
Yeah, they
So
always try to aim for like the end of the year.
yeah,
But I don't know if that's changed because after they released their supposed timeline, that's when all
yeah,
the controversy happened. So I don't know if that same timeline's going to be
impact.
followed. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I think maybe it might come out because I know that the people that make the games themselves, I forgot what they're called. They made Cyberpunk. It's Red. Uh, I'm not even gonna try to think of their name because for some reason it's slipping my mind. But they're
Mhm.
also planning on releasing the remastered of the first game and the second game, and I think that's also coming out next year as well. So it's probably gonna fit within this year, next year, just because the first game is coming out with that time frame.
Gotcha. Hmm.
So I know that at some point you did say you want to play Witcher 3. Do you think you're gonna pick it up this year and try it out?
Right now, that's a stretch, man. Because I know we were talking about games earlier, but Octopath comes out next month, which I can't wait for, and I'm gonna play the shit out of that. I know I said that with Crisis Core 2, but this one's a little bit different. This one's a little bit different.
What about Triangle Strategy? Have you tried that one yet?
I still haven't. No, I still don't. Honestly, that one's probably like if you want to borrow it, it's probably in that pile now.
It would go in my pile too because there's more games I want to play instead.
Yeah, yeah. No, and the thing that's so fascinating about Triangle Strategy is like there is so much dialogue, so much story, which is not a bad thing for me, at least in my opinion. I loved it. Like immediately when I started playing it, like I was getting like kind of like Game of Thrones vibes. I was like, oh man, I'm loving this. This is awesome. But it's also very, very long and just not, and once again, not in a bad way, but it's just like, I'm also trying to play a game here. Like, it's like you legit spend like 30 plus minutes, not necessarily reading because they do voice acting, which is also great. And I would say pretty good voice acting, if I'm being honest. Um, but I just, I couldn't really, for me, it was also grindy, right? Because it's a strategy game. And like, I, I tend how can I put it? Like I didn't want to go into battles and having to lose and then waste my time losing. So I would like grind out my characters to get them, dare I say, maybe too powerful. So when I go into the next story battle, I could beat it. Um, so I was spending a lot of time grinding, and it's like I just want to keep experiencing the story now. So, but it's not bad. It's a good game, but yeah, I'm just yeah, to squeeze the Witcher in right now, that's gonna be tough.
No,
But who knows?
I totally feel that because like obviously I like to play a lot of games and I'm trying to push some more, how do you say it, long games because some of them do take a long time. Like I have two games right now that I want to play, like Ghost of Tsushima,
Uh,
Death Stranding, that are like 60 to 100 hours, and then I also want to do the new Assassin's Creed games like Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla, and those take like 200 hours. so
Jesus.
so yeah,
And you're talking about 100% completing
yeah,
hours, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, okay. Like, I mean, I think what I need to do is like just say fuck it and like buy it and start it, right? And if it's
Just
gonna be
and just
going,
slowly chip away at it.
not even chip away. I think like and dare I blame Warcraft for this, but um, if it's going to captivate me and pretty much just lure me and steal me away, is like, no, I want to, flip this or do this, then that's going to happen, right? Like if I start it and it just pulls me and drives me in, then cool, then I'll do it. But if it doesn't, then the fear is, or the downfall is like I might not go back to it because I get turned off by it, right? Like perfect example, that was the very first Assassin's Creed that came out. Like I said, that was the only game in my lifetime that I've purchased brand new and returned it same day within hours because I was just so disappointed by it. I'm not saying that's going to happen with The Witcher. I think with The Witcher, I have a greater investment because now I like the TV show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there'd be that, but The Last of Us was kind of another example. Although I didn't buy it, I think did you let me borrow it, or who let me borrow it?
I think I
Somebody
offered
let
it,
me
but you
borrow
didn't
it.
take it.
Somebody let me borrow it, and same thing. I played it, and it made it like this is good. I like it. I like where it's going. Blah blah blah. But I just don't want to play it. I just want to watch somebody play it, which nowadays you can do with Twitch and YouTube and all that shit. Still didn't do that, but now I get the luxury of actually gonna watch it, but now via a real live action TV show. So it's
Well,
like, hey, look what's gonna happen.
I'm not gonna, crap on the live action. I think you should still watch the game because the game is really good. I'm because I have a feeling because you know it's really hard to do some of the really, how do you say it, violent acts that they do in The Last of Us and show it into like a TV format. So I think you're probably gonna miss some things. Like if you watch the HBO one, which comes out the 15th, which I'm really looking forward to as well. I don't think you're gonna get the full scope like the games will give you. Like the games are
And
just
yeah,
perfect.
you're probably definitely right. By the way, I don't know if you knew, but the first episode is gonna be like 2 hours long or something.
Oh, I am fine with that. Make them 10 hours long. I'm good.
So so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, like I said, I couldn't play it. Like I just couldn't do it, unfortunately.
Speaking
I
of
just wanted to watch it.
speaking of the Last of Us show, I'm not sure if you've seen this, and I almost wanted to make this a topic, but I think I just wanted to make the Witcher the main header.
Mhm.
But the guy that directs, The Last of Us, the games, I think
Okay.
supposedly he's working on the show too. He made a diss at Game of Thrones. He's like, we're gonna follow the source material from the games. We're not gonna deviate. We're not gonna change anything, unlike Game of
hmm
Thrones.
hmm
And I'm
Yeah, no,
like, oh, shots fired.
yeah. I think that isn't that the same tweet I added you in, and you made fun of me.
Oh, did I? I know I
I
made
think
fun of you for
so.
something because I liked it, and then like, a couple hours later you added me. I'm like, you sly dog.
I swear to you, I swear to you, you're right. That's probably why it popped up in my feed. But I totally did not see you saying that you liked it. I was like, oh, Josh would laugh at this.
And I'm like, I did. You are correct. I did like
Yeah,
this.
but you laughed for a different reason. But yeah, no, I mean, but that's fine. That's cool, right? I think if you're a fan of the series like yourself, that's what you want to see, right? That's what you want to read and know. Even for me, not being a fan of the game, I want to read that too because it's like, oh, they're sticking with the actual game source material. Awesome. So I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I just want to see what they do down the line because unfortunately there's only two games, and
Mhm.
with the good story, it does take time to craft. And I'm not trying to crap on how they can produce it because if they need to take time, take time. But because they only have two games out, and if this one succeeds and they try to push it for next year, which I don't think they should do, but also if they keep delaying it for a couple of years, people will lose interest. And I think that's the one thing that they might struggle with later is that they might want to deviate if they no longer have source material and they try to make their own extended verse. Because so far they only have enough for. I mean, I don't know if season one is going to cover the first game. I mean, they could easily make the first game 2 or 3 seasons if they really wanted to. And then let's say game two is another 2 or 3 seasons. But if they shorten it and only make it one season per game, they only have 2 years worth of content, and
Mhm.
they would need to figure how to do a game three if they want to rush it.
I'm pretty sure they're not dumb and they're not doing one season per game. But what do I know? I really don't think that's going to happen. Now, remember, I posed that question to you, like, where do you think it would end? You know, with the game, with the season, and you offered up your conclusions, but like me, I would have no idea, right? I think by the time the season ends, you'd be able to say like, oh, they're at 50% of the game, whatever. and that's cool. I think that's the way they're going to go about it. Without knowing, they hinted at a third game anyway, and I'm pretty sure with this success, will probably not that it will dictate that, but it will definitely probably enhance that decision making.
Yeah, I personally think they should split it into 2 seasons because, and this is where the deviation part comes in because I think realistically season 1 can follow the whole game, but don't show them the ending of the first game. Have the season 1 end with them meeting the Fireflies, which is the group that they're looking for, and in season 2 they extend the Firefly part because once you get to the Firefly part, things escalate very quickly. But have season 2 just be meeting the Fireflies and then slowly doing what they want to do, like without spoiling anything. They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to do research, trying to figure out the zombie thing and all that stuff, and then make season 2 all about the Fireflies, and then have the end of season 2 be the ending of game 1 where everything just goes crazy, and then you got season 3 which starts Last of Us Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
just how I'd like to see it, but they would have to drag out the Firefly part because the Firefly part is very short, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
could be developed more, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Almost like Resident Evil, when you play Resident Evil and you get to the actual laboratory. The laboratory's at the very end. It's a small part, but it's somewhat arguably the coolest part because you're like learning all about the, like you said, the zombies and all that shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna know in a couple months here. So
Well, not in a couple
it
months. We're
starts.
gonna see in
No, 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 no.
exactly.
But the whole season will be over in a
Oh,
couple months.
yeah.
It starts next week, in which yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's gonna be. We talk about Game of Thrones fillers, right?
So
Here's one of them.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but did they announce if it was gonna be weekly based or they're releasing it all at once? Because HBO is
It's
starting to release them all at once now.
oh,
Like there's a show I've been
uh,
watching called His Dark Material, and they released all episodes at once, which is shocking to me because I wasn't ready for that.
I don't know. I don't know.
All right, what were you gonna say before I cut you off?
Oh, I was done what I was talking about.
Oh, okay, sorry, I thought you had
Yeah.
something else.
No, no, no. I was done. I was done.
But
But
oh,
yeah,
go
no. Well,
ahead,
now you
go
cut me off.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna reiterate exactly what I said again. I was like, we'll find out soon enough. Like I thought it was gonna be a weekly episodic thing, but if they drop a whole season, um, well then I might have to take off a Monday or something.
But continuing the show talk, dude, there's been a lot of stuff recently, which is like Netflix and then purchasing of shows. So I'm pretty sure you haven't watched it, but there's a show called Wednesday. It's a continuation of the Addams Family story about Wednesday Addams, her going to school, her finding herself, and all that stuff. I personally love the show. I thought it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I think it feels the Addams Family like vibe with her, and it continues well. Um, they officially greenlighted it for season 2, which is funny because it was all Wednesday or the Adams. I think the Adams Family like franchise or series, whatever, was bought out by Amazon. So even though the show is on Netflix and being promoted by Netflix, Amazon owns that show.
Wow, interesting.
And it's one of Netflix's most hyped shows, and it's owned by Amazon, which I think is hilarious.
That is quite ironic. Yeah.
Because there's a lot
Um.
of speculations if they're gonna pull Wednesday from Netflix after they hyped it up and advertised it so much, and then put it on Amazon Prime. But Amazon was
Oh
like,
my god.
but Amazon was like,
That
no,
would
we'll
be.
keep it on Netflix.
Oh, okay. Interesting. They're playing nice in the sandbox.
At least for season 2. All we know is season 2 is gonna be on Netflix.
That's interesting. That's funny. Wow. Crazy.
But then more stuff is that Netflix, dude. This is one of the reasons why I might actually. I know we talked about this before with the password sharing, the price hikes, and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
dude, they just go on this nonstop rampage of canceling shows, even shows that aren't necessarily bad, like shows that people like. It's just budget issues.
Hmm.
Like there's a show called 1899 that I liked. It was received relatively well, and even though it was received well, it was still canceled after season 1. And that was just one of like 30 shows in like a week that were canceled.
Hmm.
And then you have certain shows that aren't getting the best reviews that are still getting season 2 and 3, and I'm like, why are
Hmm.
they getting continued when nobody really likes it? It's like this whole weird cancellation of shows that Netflix is doing is like, are you guys afraid to try new things? Are you guys trying to do this
What's
because it fits your agenda? What's going on here?
the only thing I could think of that may help support things that do and do not get canceled is the financial backing of whatever the shows are, right? Because I know Netflix does have their own shows at their own financial backing, but the ones that probably aren't received well, and this is obviously a show by show basis, and I understand that, but maybe they're being funded by not Netflix, so therefore it's like, okay, we're just a platform for you, so fine, fuck it.
That actually
But
I honestly didn't even think about that because usually most shows are like funded by Netflix, but you actually make good sense because there are individual shows that are like backed by studios. Like I think there's a lot of Bollywood movies on Netflix that are paid by India, not
hmm.
Netflix.
Hmm.
So that makes
Yeah,
a lot of
so
sense.
yeah, that's the only thing I could think of. I mean, it still sucks, right? That you know they cancel a lot that may show results, but who knows? Maybe they got some secrets on the horizon that they know they need to, put their efforts towards. I don't know.
Yeah, because it like seeing like I mean this is a new thing. Netflix cancels shows all the time,
Hmm.
dozens of batches at like different intervals.
Hmm.
But seeing all these cancellations, even ones that are super successful, it makes me think: are they going to cancel The Witcher soon? Because
So I was actually thinking that as we're talking about this mainly because of all the shit that's going on, right? Like,
yeah,
maybe they're like, you know what? This sounds like it's gonna bite us on the ass. Let's just can it after season three. You
yeah,
you might not be wrong. I was thinking that as we're talking about this,
yeah,
could
because
happen.
they had a whole bunch of projects planned out. Like obviously, season 4 was supposed to be casted with what's his name, Liam Hemsworth,
Liam Hemsworth. Hmm.
and supposedly they're still going with season 4 with him.
Hmm.
For now, but they also had other projects that they wanted to kind of expand on. But ever since this whole controversy stuff in the Witcher Blood and Origins, it's like all information stopped.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna start slowing down production on these extra shows until they figure out their thing, or if they're just gonna completely can it all together.
So what? Since you're obviously a more big Netflix fan than I am, because I've never held a subscription. Out, and I may be wrong when I'm even saying this, but I feel like historically, Stranger Things is probably their number one. Am I wrong with that? Or
I think it's still the number one, but it's
okay,
being rivaled by like Wednesday and some other shows like that.
okay, so that was kind of be my follow up. So like, they're gonna obviously end with their final season whenever that is next year. So what is their exact number two, number three? Like,
So
or what,
one's
or what? I guess maybe even to keep it with the Witcher talk here. Where does Witcher rank?
well, it was originally like their top five.
Okay.
Blood and Origins changed that. I think it's not no longer even in their top 30.
Oof.
I think Wednesday's
But if
second.
you but if you pull that out, I mean, like, yeah, I know that's our prime topic today is the origin one, but like, if you pull that out and just leave it as The Witcher without as the standalone show, like, it's still ranked top five though, right?
Okay, so I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
So currently, well, I'm assuming this is just this year. Wait, hold
Uh
on.
huh.
Let's see if I can pull up full numbers.
Yeah, because I would like to know. Well, I guess it would have to be recently because because you want to talk about active shows, right? So I think last year would be fine.
So, unfortunately, I'm at the official Netflix site and I'm looking at their top 10, their
Uh
charts.
huh. Uh huh.
For 3 months in a row, Wednesday's been number one.
But that's
Uh,
because it's the hot thing right now, right? It's yeah.
yeah.
So like it's gonna be that, but I guess I'm looking for like maybe last 2 years or something, right? Like where you get a nice sample size of what has been around and what was being watched and consumed more.
I'm trying to figure that out right now. Let's see.
Okay.
Netflix's biggest shows. Let's see. I'm clicking. I'm looking at the site right now. Uh, Unfortunately, it doesn't.
Doesn't give that kind of
It seemed to give like
data
the exact
statistics.
data, like the 3 month
Gotcha.
progresses.
Gotcha.
I could tell you the movies though. The movie Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot. That's their number one movie.
Mm.
Don't Look Up is their number two movie. Bird Box number three, which is shocking. The Gray Man is number four. Number five is The Adam Project. Number six is Extraction. Number seven is Purple Hearts. Number eight is Unforgivable. Number nine is The Irishman. And number 10 is Glass Onion, which I have a feeling is going to rise to number one very soon.
Mm. I don't even know what
And
that is,
that's
but
just for movies.
yeah.
Unfortunately, hold on, let's see. Okay, so now I'm looking at overall. This is from the end of 2021, so it's not 2022 data.
That's still good.
But Squid Games is their most watched show of all
Mm.
time with 1.65 billion hours.
Mm.
Stranger Things 2 is number.
And that one,
Oh, sorry. This is actually recent. This is from November. Stranger
and I
Things.
think that Squid Games is getting another season, right?
Yeah, it's getting another season.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So Squid Game's currently number one for them, like over watch time globally.
Mm-hmm.
Stranger Things 2 is number two with 1.35 billion hours, but it says season four, so I'm not sure if that's just season four numbers or if that's all numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday's number three, Dahmer's number four. Apparently, people love Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, no, that one was stupid popular.
Number five is Money Heist. Number six is Bridgerton. Number seven is also Bridgerton. I guess they do count the season separately because one,
Mm.
6, and 7 are season 1, 2. So yeah.
So Witcher's not on there.
I'm looking all the way down. Even if we're talking seasons, it's not even in their top 50.
Wow. So yeah.
Oh wait. Sorry, I just found it. I glossed over it. Only season one is on number 12.
Really?
And
That's
it's with
more interesting.
541 million hours watched. Only for season one. Season 2 is not on there.
Interesting. Wow.
I'm looking up to see if another article. This one, maybe. Well, I don't know how reliable this is because I'm using CNET. But I'm looking at
CNET could be okay.
But I'm looking at Vice, which I don't know how reliable that is either. But
yeah, that one might be a little bit more shady.
Yeah, that's saying it's number 17.
Okay. So that's interesting. So going back to our theory here, could it be a possible show to get canned? I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but also, dare I say this? Because it sounds like now I'm part of that negative society, but fuck it, can it after season 3? I'll probably leave it in the state where you're like, well, that was a dumb way to end it, but hey.
Yeah, dude, I mean, obviously we've talked about Henry Cavill before, but dude, this is such a weird time. I don't know why people are like trying to can him from shows when he's so popular. Like, same thing with like the James Gunn thing. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but there's been more information about like Ezra Miller staying on as the Flash going into the, his version of it. Which, if you don't know about Ezra Miller, he has countless criminal records going forward. That's super controversial. And it's like, why are you sticking with him when you have the ideal Superman in your grasp?
and oh man, it's such a shame because not only is it ideal, like, I mean, what I want to know is what the fuck is his vision of Superman? Because like, and I believe you made this point last time, like, Henry Cavill's still not even just so good at being a Superman, but he's so good at being an evil Superman.
Yeah.
Like, what more could you ask for?
Yeah.
And like I said, and he still is going to have, somehow he's still going to have Ben Affleck associated somehow. I mean, I'm not shitting on Ben Affleck. I think he gets hit with a lot of bad reputation too, with like, his acting and everything, but I'm not saying I'm a super fan of Ben Affleck. I think he does okay.
He can deliver. That's all I will say.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. but to the point, it's like he wasn't obviously the most popular one. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's not sounding good. He better shock the world.
Yeah.
He better pull a Patterson. Let's put it that way.
He definitely better pull a Patterson because, like, like seeing all his casting choices, who he's keeping on for his version, it's like, I mean, I like Ezra Miller as Flash. I think he's, I guess,
He does good too.
entertaining, but
His real world problems, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's just like even after seeing Suicide Squad, like the second one, obviously people say the first one's trash or whatever. I like the first one potentially better than the second one, but they're both okay. But they're, yeah, it's just, I feel like whoever envisioned James Gunn being the head may have jumped the gun a little bit because his vision doesn't fit DC very well, except for Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, though, we really don't know his vision, right? The only thing we know on his vision is basically who he's been canning. Same thing with Momoa. Like, I mean, like, I don't know if you would want to say he's the perfect Aquaman, but what he's done for Aquaman has been fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. Yeah, I don't understand why. Like, the casting was pretty much there for you.
yeah. But
I mean,
to be fair though, the whole Jason Momoa thing though, I think he would have been a better cast choice for Lobo than Aquaman. But oddly enough, he fits Aquaman pretty well too.
yeah. Um,
You know, screw it, cast him twice, make them both.
but yeah, like I mean, in all honesty, and like he better pull a Patterson. And I say that because it's pretty documented, and you could include myself in it initially, but Patterson got shit on, absolutely shit on when it was announced. And like I said, now to me, it's one of the better, if not arguably, could be the best Batman.
Yeah. See, it's funny with the Patterson one because like at first I want to bash it too, but then I have to remember he's not Twilight. Because he's actually playing a bunch of decent movies like The Lighthouse. I think it's like The Devil and Me or The Devil Inside with Tom Holland and all that stuff, and he plays some good roles. It's
For
just he has to
me,
be
it
for it.
wasn't. I mean, yes, I'm not gonna lie. The Twilight aspect did have a little bit of play in it, but to me, it wasn't even just that. It's just like, and I'll still say this is true. Even me still liking how he how he acted in the movie and how the movie was done. He still just doesn't embody Bruce Wayne to me.
No, he doesn't. He's an emo Bruce Wayne.
It just like I mean, and maybe there is a comic book version where he does embody it well than historically the ones I know of. Maybe there is, and that's my lack of comic book knowledge. But just for that simple fact, he doesn't embody Bruce Wayne for me.
I,
So like that's like his biggest negative thing, and that's kind of why I shit on it.
I,
Like I
I
said, the whole movie itself, the presentation, his acting was fantastic.
I would say, and I think this might also come into play later on because, originally Batman was supposed to be three timelines. You got early version Batman, which is Patterson, current version, which is Ben Affleck, and then future version, which was Michael Keaton. I think Robert Pattinson plays a good early version of Batman when he's like coming into his own, developing his, his style and his way of approaching the world, while Ben Affleck is more of he's already defined himself as how to be Bruce Wayne, and he's also knows how to be Batman without being too overly aggressive like he is in the Patterson version. And I feel like cutting those two other phases out may have hurt Patterson going forward because now he has to hold up both those roles at the same time. Because he has to figure out how to be like a actual cemented Batman instead of just an early version.
Yeah, but it also like I think he can only do so much with his acting on what's being written, right? So
Yeah.
if it's not written for him, then he's fucked.
Oh yeah, I'm not putting it
But
on Patterson. I'm just saying that now
yeah,
because DC screwed up so badly, he now has more pressure on his shoulders.
yeah, and they have greenlighted him a second one, right? Or did he even get
Yes.
greenlighted for a trilogy?
I don't know about the trilogy, but I know second
Okay,
one they already are looking for Frost and Poison Ivy.
okay, okay, interesting. I think it'd be hard not to somehow provide closure for like the Riddler and Joker that they kind of teased. So, but
Yeah, I don't think Joker
we'll
we're
see
gonna
what
see in the
happens.
second one. I don't. It doesn't sound like they're casting him yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there could be still a lot of secrets because even when they were um, filming this one, they had to stop and start like I think a couple of times because didn't he get injured at one point as well or something?
Oh, it's entirely possible. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, and then I think even just with the casting itself, like when Colin Farrell was casted, like nobody knew he was going to be the Penguin.
Oh, dude, whoever worked on his cosmetics, dude, did fantastic because he didn't even look like Colin Farrell.
So yeah, so like, to that point, like there's known casting, right? And then there's the secret hidden casting.
Yeah.
So those are the things that you always just got to be, excited for.
Yeah, so far the secret hidden casting, at least so far from what I know, is just who's gonna play Frost, who's gonna play Poison Ivy. No one knows. All I know is that they're looking for them, or they have them, or whatever. But yeah, you're right. You don't know until it comes out. Um, but yeah, it's just it's weird seeing all these different like show, news happen all at once. It's like everybody's getting hit with everything. Um, and yeah, I just want to see how The Witcher's gonna play out because I do like The Witcher. I think the live action version's good. It's just God, it's in a world of pain with all these weird casting direction challenges that everybody's facing right now for odd reasons.
Yeah. Well, they shot themselves in the foot with that one, and they might just face the repercussions with it soon. So, oh well, it sucks. It sucks to see something that had and could have had a really long, luxurious run,
Oh, very long run.
but it is what it is.
Yeah. So I guess we can move on to the second part. I almost choked myself with the cable that I'm accidentally stepping on. So you brought this up. So gaming seems like it's becoming more accessible. Xbox did this a few years ago. They released a controller for people with disabilities, either physical or mental disabilities, to make it easier for them to play games, which I think is great because there's a lot of people that want to play video games, and I feel like it should be available to as many people as possible and as how do you say it also playable as possible because there's accessibility options, but that doesn't mean it makes gameplay as
Totally
easy
be
either.
playable. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I could not agree anymore. Like I think it is so challenging though because you have to you have to cater by each disability, right? Like I think segue a little bit into the Game Awards. The Game Awards has their own category for accessibility award. Whether it's to help people with color blindness or XYZ. So all those things are obviously fantastic, and you kind of always want to keep seeing evolve and continue. But it's also very challenging because like this like I wish you would have shared with me the Xbox one because I haven't seen it, sadly, even though you said it came out years ago. So I really know nothing about it, and I didn't really do all my homework on the PlayStation one. This is why the topic's coming up. But the whole taking this controller and just kind of customize it into what you need it to be for you, it's pretty cool. And but it just has me wonder, like, are they now forced to figure it out themselves? Or do they have like preset, like here's how you should customize it based on this disability and this, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are things like I wonder. And it might have been an article, and that's my fault for not totally reading it. But like those are still, I feel like, are the challenging things, like because it's hard to cater to everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm
But how
assuming they're
much?
gonna have like the basic stuff because I know for Xbox, the Xbox board is just like a square board that has like touchpads and some buttons,
Mm-hmm,
and you can program it to certain things. Like if you're unfortunately an amputee and you only have one arm, they have a
mm-hmm,
way you could do that. Or if you're like no longer have use of your arms, they make it so you could still touch it with your face or your mouth or whatever, or
mm-hmm.
different parts of your body because they also have touchpads and you could program that individually. You might need somebody to help you, but they have a way to
Yeah,
customize all the controls for whatever commands you need. Um, Looking at the PlayStation one, which for audio listeners I do have up on the screen, it looks like a little, basically it looks like a frisbee. Supposedly there's two of these little things. It's called Project Leonardo. It's like a disc that has these different like panel inputs that have like X, circle, L3, R3, whatever directional control pads, and I'm assuming it's for people with disabilities, but I don't see. Well, I mean, obviously this is. I don't think it's officially coming out yet, but they revealed plans for this. But I don't see any touchpads, which it might be a concern. I'm not sure if the middle part is a touchpad. But so far it's a step in the right direction, which I'm surprised they're doing it now because PlayStation games like The Last of Us has a whole bunch of accessibility options, to make it easier for people with, mental disabilities or physical disabilities to play. Like if you have one arm, they make sure it's easier to shoot with aim assist being so high and all that stuff, and other options as well. So it's weird to see them being late to the controller party with accessibility when they pretty much were ahead when it comes to game configurations, or at least their studios are ahead when it comes to that accessibility part.
Mm-hmm.
But I,
And
I
then
still think it's a good direction.
no, yeah, it's always a good direction. But based on the article, like it just looked. I mean, dare I say, it looks weird to me. But of course, when you're trying to be accessible, there's reasons why it looks the way it looks. But like I believe, like all the like you mentioned, how it looks like a frisbee, trying to like kind of visually explain to the audience. But I think like every single one of those could be popped off, and you could
Interchangeable.
yeah, interchangeable, and like really like dare I say fully customizable, because I don't really know what that customization is going to look like, but you could like unravel that to kind of look like one long strip of like almost like a keyboard, I believe, where it's now functioning like keys. um I don't, to your point, I don't know if any of it is touch based. It'd be nice if every single one of those buttons were, um based on pressure, I guess, like I don't know.
I
um
I do have the article up from Polygon. Once again, I'm just reading articles. I don't know how trustworthy they are, so if I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But it says Sony revealed a brand new controller for its PlayStation 5 on Wednesday, a device called Project Leonardo that aims at bringing improved accessibilities to players on PlayStation. The device, which can be paired with an existing DualSense controller, so I'm assuming you do need the original controller, or used on its. Oh, okay. Well, maybe if I read forward, it says it used on its own. It's currently in development and does not have a release date or a price. So I'm assuming this is just a concept design. It probably might not be the finished product. Um, Project Leonardo was built with SIE Sensor Vice Senior Vice President. Jeez, I can't read. Said on the PlayStation blog to address common challenges faced by many players with limited motor control, including difficulties holding a controller for long periods, accurately pressing small clusters of buttons or triggers, or positioning thumbs and fingers optimally. On a standard controller, the controller includes a robust kit of swappable components, so they are swappable according to this, including a variety of analog sticks, caps, buttons in different shapes and sizes. And then they also show a picture of these panels being taken off, interchangeable, and a
mhm,
way to label them differently depending on what your customized option is. And also
mhm.
the little touchpad ball, whatever analog stick thing, is also swappable with like a more of like a circular, smaller one, or just something you can move with just the palm of your hand. Um, it says the new controller includes extensible button mapping and multiple control profiles. So that means if you do have multiple disabilities, or a household that has people with different disabilities, you can make profiles
Like
specifically for
presets,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. It's also expandable via four 3.5 millimeter auxiliary ports that supports a variety of external switches and third-party accessibility. So that means you could probably add extensions like a foot pedal or whatever you need on there, which I think is great. This enables users to integrate specialty switches, buttons, or analog sticks with the Project Leonardo controller. Sony says they consulted with accessibility experts like able gamers and special effects, which I'm assuming is a group of people that deal with these disabilities, and military veteran support, so people that are
Mm,
amputees, which I think is great.
mhm.
Support groups stack up to design a new controller video introducing the project features members from those groups and develops PlayStation Studios. So they even have a actual video, which I'm not going to play here for copyright reasons, but you could actually look on their blog post for Project Leonardo, and they'll go through all that, which I think is awesome that they are working with these groups that have extensive knowledge on this and are working to make a really good, thought out controller for
Impact.
them. Yeah.
Have a good impact. Riddle me this, Batman. Um, do you, do you think there's a population that are just non-disability gamers that are still going to get this and try to
Oh,
use it to their
100%.
because as you're reading all that, and I'm like sitting here, it's like why wouldn't just now a regular gamer be buying this and then fully customizing it to whatever makes them possibly a better gamer? And with that said, shouldn't this then be possibly banned for like actual real tournament games and stuff,
I mean, competitive wise,
competitive games.
I don't know if it's gonna really play that big of a factor just because of the way it's designed, but who knows? Maybe, possibly.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I definitely see a lot of gamers buying this that aren't disabled. Like, I'm not sure if you, I mean, I don't think you watch it, but there's a lot of people that like to do specific challenges, like play with their feet, play with their hands, or whatever. No
Hmm.
look.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
there's probably plenty of people that would buy this just for challenging aspects of gaming. Like,
Hmm.
there's a person recently I was watching, or at least a video of, where they're playing Elden Ring with a controller, but they're also playing Elden Ring on a second device, but with their feet on a dance pad.
Hmm.
So people are probably going to buy this just for challenging features, just so they could
Yeah.
stream. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's are we gonna? I mean, if they buy it, that's on them. You know, good
Yeah.
for them. But the fact that they're making it better for people that do have either
I can use it. Yeah.
amputees, disabilities, whatever, it makes it good for them.
Cool. Cool. So since you read all that in comparison to the Microsoft version, like,
Um, probably. Well, Xbox is the same thing. When they created their accessibility device, they worked with the groups as well to make it good. That's why it's a very like when you. I've seen it in stores at Best Buy, and you can play with it to try it out. It's a very sturdy device. Like it's meant to be messed with. Like you can't break it easily. Um, the only problem is because it's a rectangle box shaped, the
mm-hmm.
edges might be a little rough for people. So I think
Mm-hmm.
maybe this might be a better feature, but who knows? Maybe Xbox might release a second updated version to their
Mm-hmm.
accessibility device to compete with this, or just making it better. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
If there's a competition in this field, I don't care as long as people with disabilities are able to play more.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really cool. And and hopefully it works out really well.
Yeah.
And on top of it, like I don't know how much buy-in the games themselves need to be to kind of like assist with that accessibility, right? Because like
I
I
think
don't.
I know what you're talking about. I think games could definitely help settings wise, but I think
Hmm.
because of how programmable this is on a system level,
Hmm.
I think it could bypass that.
Okay,
Just because
interesting.
of how you can command it like a keyboard.
Hmm.
Um, so I think that's why they spent so long trying to do this. Is they seem like they figured out how to bypass the game setting part just to make it
So it
system dependent.
becomes irrelevant. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Hopefully that is the case because I feel like if you're able to circumvent that where that's not relevant and it's like okay you could do this controller and play no matter what game it is, to your point it might not be uh, extremely fluid like how we would play the game, but as long as they're able to play the game, enjoy it, and actually finish it, I think that's really all you can ask for. And there still will be probably people out there that will um, probably, hopefully, what I would like to see is use this and actually play in a competitive field that actually do have the disabilities. Like, I think that would be fucking amazing. I know
Yeah.
it don't really exist. Like, there's people with disabilities that do play competitively. I know that, but like, I mean, maybe with more severe ones, you know?
Well, it's funny that you said because there's actually a guy on Twitch. I wish I could remember his name. I follow him. I'll have to look it
Mm-hmm.
up. But
Mm-hmm.
he's a guy in a wheelchair. He can't. He doesn't have full functionality of his arms, but he can like hold. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm just trying to replicate
Yeah.
for people that see. He has his like wrist propped up to his neck, and he uses his like chin to move the analog sticks. And
Mm-hmm.
he's surprisingly good at Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was shocked at how good he was for
Mm-hmm.
what he has to deal with, and I'm like, maybe this might be a good control for him, but he also kind of has his own like configuration how to work things. But
Mm-hmm.
there's definitely people that have significant disabilities that are somehow really skilled at video games, even shooters, which is a hard field to compete in
Oh
with
yeah, yeah. No,
disabilities.
shooters are those are extremely challenging. That's why I don't play them anymore. But like to that point, like there was a guy I met in WoW that has well not I guess still technically it's disability. Who am I kidding? But like he doesn't have he only has one hand and then the other one he only has couple of, I guess if you want to call them stubs, and he streams too, and he plays a rogue and he's fucking really good at it, and I watched him play and it's just like I said, it's just really mind blowing how even with that disability, how well he functions and how fast he functions, and can play competitively. So yeah, really cool.
I'm trying to figure out what the guy's name is. Because unfortunately, I looked it up. I said the guy that plays because I can't remember his Twitch, and I would have to look through my following list. Unfortunately, they have a bunch of articles on him. They just don't say his name. They say
Hmm.
paralyzed man plays Call of Duty with his mouth, which I think is a horrible tagline. They should
Yeah,
actually say his username.
yeah. At the very least, give the person some fucking credit.
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out because I do want to share because I think it's incredible what he can do with his ability. But I guess I'll if I find it, maybe I'll put it in the description or something. Um,
Sounds good.
but yeah,
Reference.
there's a bunch of cool people. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to, like we do with a lot of our topics on our podcast and, follow up on it and in the future whenever it does come out and see how it plays, how accessible it really is.
apparently there's another guy that has the same thing as him. Dude, people are so bad with their titles. They use the same title, Paralyzed Gamer Slays COD Warzone with his mouth. It's like put his name in the description. If I read a couple paragraphs down, his name is Rocky No Hands. That's his handle. I don't know if that's on. Oh, he's on Twitch and YouTube, Rocky No Hands. But that's not the guy I was talking about. This is just another guy that has the same
Yeah.
disability. But yeah, it's cool. Dude, these titles, man, are so bad.
The other thing too, if I may, like flip it, like God forbid, something happens to me, just to know that there maybe is, because I would still want to love and play video games, that this could be an option. It is also very very good too.
Yeah. Yeah, man, yeah, it gives you more sense of security when you're going forward. Like, if something unfortunate does happen to somebody, they still have an option to partake in something they love. And that's always a
Exactly.
great thing.
Yeah.
But I wonder when this is actually going to be revealed. Like, so far, this is planned. Obviously, it's going through. They don't have an announced date, they don't have a price. But I'm hoping it's kind of like the Xbox one. Obviously, the technology that probably goes into this is very extensive.
Yeah.
But the one for Xbox is pretty affordable. I might be wrong, but I think it's like $90.
Oh damn, that's really
Xbox.
affordable.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that the PlayStation one competes price wise with that because it's meant for people that have these disabilities, so the price should be affordable.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm not wrong here. So it's called the Xbox Adaptive Controller. What's the price? Price. Let's see. You can buy it for. Yep, it's $99.
So 100. Yeah. That's still really good.
Yeah, I'll put it on
That's
screen too because I know we showed the PlayStation one, but for people watching on video, this
Yeah.
is what the Xbox Adaptive Controller is because there is a feature like the a controller that's accessible now that you can buy for $100, but the PlayStation one should be out soon.
So now
And
Nintendo got to step it up.
yeah, well, I don't know if they necessarily do because I'm assuming the PlayStation one probably follow the same suit, but the Xbox Adaptive Controller is compatible with all devices. I think that's kind of why these modern systems are pushing for USB controllers as well, because this can work for PlayStation 5, PS4. I believe this can also work for Switch and PC. I know for PlayStation it definitely does, and PC it does. I don't know about Nintendo, but I'm assuming it does. So I'm gonna also go on faith here that the PS5 will probably operate on all platforms as well, just because. Why not?
That'd be superb. That'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool that there's more options out there. I'm really happy for people.
Cool. Yep. Well, so we'll probably follow up on that and leave your comments in the wherever you can leave your comments, no matter where you're listening to us and following us. So
Why are you smiling?
Repeat it. Copy and paste it on all of them.
Yes. So I guess we can move on to number 3. This one you actually posed, which I'm shocked because recently, for some reason, we've been talking about a lot of WWE, which I have no problem with. But apparently, it seems like the news for wrestling just keeps piling up to a bigger and bigger, I guess, climax as it's coming to for WWE.
My God. So I should have earlier, but I feel pretty confident to say when last time we talked about this topic, I might have said at the end that I would not be surprised if this right here happens. And lo and behold, this all kind of spun newsworthy yesterday and also into today. So now it's, well, okay. Topic for those that don't have the visual is WWE for sale. And the reason why this question is being posed right now is because as of yesterday, our favorite devil, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, has pretty much put himself back on the WWE board of directors along with two other people that were not there that used to be on it. And allegedly is looking into the sale of the company. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's his. He penned a letter saying, "Hey, I need to be back on because we need to do this, or whatever, but for the stakeholders." And as of today, he was successful. He is officially back. Matter of fact, I think the current show is on right now. They held like a all staff meeting to discuss it, and um, oh man, so much to really talk about with this. So if I may rewind for a second, when he immediately left, it was due to, at least I'm gonna say it was due to his allegations because of him paying off particular women that allegedly he, had sexual acts with. So it was a bad look on the company. I felt like that for him. I think even for him and all the stuff that he may have gone with in the past, it was kind of like, okay, I might need to step away in case this goes haywire. And now that those waves have, dissipated, now I think he's trying to say, hey, I'm back. You know, things have passed by, and the thing that's shitty is because when he left, people were very happy to see the product in other people's hands, which was his daughter and his um, stepson or whatever, son-in-law. Sorry, not stepson. There's a big difference there. And morale was up for just reading different things. I mean, obviously, I would never know if it's all true because I'm not in the locker rooms, but through all the different reports, morale was up. Actually, Triple H ended up rehiring a lot of the people that Vince fired during his tenure was away, which was only just a few months. And now he's back, and so immediately, I guess people are just a whirl of emotions. Pissed. Some people, I think, are already speculating on whether or not they want to leave, just walk out. However, stocks have rose by like $20 a share since yesterday.
Like
It's
Fox, the news channel,
huh?
like the Fox, like the station, or like.
No, I said stocks.
Oh,
Because
I thought you said Fox. My
no,
bad.
no, stocks. The WWE stocks because they are still currently a publicly traded company.
Okay.
Um, so it's amazing, man. It's amazing the amount of power slash pull this man has, right? Like, even though he may not be fully well recepted amongst his colleagues, if that's the right word to use, um, the man moves the needle, at least with stocks. So it's very interesting to see what happens and if he really is trying to sell the company. And then if he is, that's a whole other thing. It's like the man has an ego. I think a lot of them do, but like his ego is just so far perceives everybody else, but like you don't trust it in your own family's hands. Like I don't know, man. That sucks. Like that's bad. Um,
Well, supposedly, from what I'm looking at, because I also pulled up a post here. It's from the New York
uh,
Post, and
That's a good one.
obviously they have pictures of Stephanie and then Triple H next to him, and they all looked kind of upset when he's next to me. He looks like he's just miserable. Um, but apparently he screwed a lot of people over on this because, like, obviously they're also linking to other articles, which I'm not gonna read because it's not a post to this. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, the alleged rape victim wants Vince McMahon to pay 11.75 million for whatever, and then obviously they're going more. Um, but as I was reading down, it sounds like he basically reinstated himself as head by force, uh, and then he wants to work closely with Michelle and George. I'm guessing. Let's see.
Those are the other board members that he brought with him back with him.
Yeah, which is weird because it says Michelle Wilson and George Barros, who
Barrios or something like that. Yeah.
Barrios, who he
Yeah.
fired in 2020 and I guess brought him back, which is weird. And basically says, "Hey, we're taking over again," which is kind
With
of a really like
scummy.
scummy move because like all these people
It's
were doing this stuff, and I guess there's a guy named Khan that was on the board as
yeah.
well, and I
Hmm.
guess now he's knocked off because the other two are
Oh,
on.
oh, see that part. That part I don't know. I last I read he was still there. What I did know was as this transition happened, three people I think did get knocked off, and then two voluntarily walked off,
Well, it looks
which
like
is
Khan is still
crazy.
there, but it seems
Yeah, I
like,
think he still is there.
but
I
I
think he's
don't think
still
he's
there.
taking everything well.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he's not. Once again can't speak for anybody, but I'm pretty sure his own daughter and Triple H are probably not taking this well either.
The picture
I,
doesn't
I,
show it.
well, I don't know if that picture might be just like a ring picture, but
No, like they're just sitting down. I'm guessing at an event, and they just look. Yeah, they look
miserable. Yeah.
miserable.
Yeah, no, I can't be. I cannot imagine this is being received very well. So, like, the thing is like I know, like reading on social media and everything, people are like, how the fuck could he do this? It's got to be illegal, and unfortunately, it's not. Like the man, even though he retired and he stepped down,
He
he
still
still
owned all of it.
owns the majority of shares. Like, and that's why I said what I said before. I was like, he's not really gone. Like, yes, he is finally in some capacity where he's not the character of Vince McMahon and he's not this and this. But as long as you own that majority shares, your presence is still very much well there. But yeah, it's kind of scummy. I feel like he has to sell now. I, I just if he is going to return exactly in his prior position, man, that bodes very horrible for in my opinion. But what do I know? Like I said, the stocks I think really do a lot of the talking. Of course, who knows if they're going to sustain? But the other point I want to bring this up, and now we're kind of talk fantasy talk, is like who the hell could even buy the
AEW.
WWE? Well, no, that kind of is a suitor, but it wouldn't be the current real owner of AEW. It would probably be his dad, because his dad is the one that actually owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, so he probably has more net worth and could afford it. I don't know. I don't know if he would do that. Um, and I don't know if Vince really would sell to them.
This
I really,
pure spite.
I don't. Yeah, no, I really don't think so. But who knows, right? Who knows? One of the one things that he says, and he has his son and daughter say all the time, what's best for business, even though they wouldn't own the business anymore, but maybe what's best for the sport of wrestling, so to speak.
So
I
my question is, do you think it's actually going to go to an independent or a giant conglomerate like Disney or Comcast? Because
100%. So that's always been kind of like a haha rumor, like Disney presents WWE, and now every women wrestler is a Disney princess. Um, it's possible. It's very well. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. So like, I think I did a quick little search, and this might be an inaccurate value as well, but the estimated value is $6.25 billion, which is probably about right, I would think.
I'm actually
I think
shocked
that's a
that's that
fair
low.
assessment. Do you think that's low?
Oh yeah, man.
I,
If Bethesda
I,
can sell for over 7 billion, and that's just a game company, how is WWE that's known pretty much worldwide
yeah, it is a
for only
worldwide
six
entity.
billion?
That's what I saw. I don't know.
Because like they also turn. I mean, I don't want to give them too much credit, but
Yeah,
they also have turned wrestlers into movie stars like Rock,
100%.
John Cena,
Mm-hmm.
Batista, and all that stuff. So they got
Correct.
more credibility there too.
Yeah, no, they really do.
Because like WWE is still associated with their name even as actors.
I mean, maybe it has something to do with like, and I don't know all the legalities with this. I'm just really kind of thinking outside the box here, but maybe upon a sale and a new purchase, maybe the TV contracts and the TV deals kind of go away, so those aren't inherited, and obviously that's money. Like I don't know. I really don't know how all that gets
Dude,
factored in.
imagine if the company gets split, like Disney gets Raw, Comcast gets SmackDown.
No, that wouldn't happen. No, that wouldn't
Because
happen.
don't they have like two
That.
conflicting television?
No, it is, but that's all storyline driven. That's part
Well,
of the
well,
umbrella. It's
well. I mean, both of them are owned by WWE, but they're also on two separate broadcasting stations from two different companies. So that's not
no, no,
drama. That's actual
no, no.
business.
That part is real. There is politics involved with that, especially on which show gets which wrestler. But the contracts are still all one company. Like it's not like Fox owns the contracts to those wrestlers and whatever USA owns the con. That's not how it works. So it's all still under one umbrella. But going back to suitors now, that's like the interesting thing. Like, and like I wish I could even bring more to the table, but like I'm even just thinking like independent. Like you brought independent buyer. Like I don't know who out there with that type of money is like. I guess somebody would probably want it just for the simple fact that they see it as an investment, right? But I don't think that would be the right approach for the product, right?
I just pictured like Elon Musk announcing, "I'm buying WWE."
Right? No, you're not wrong there. Or God forbid Donald Trump, but like you know what I'm saying? Like it really could be something
Dude,
like that.
now that you said that, at first I wasn't even thinking him, but I totally forgot that he actually
He
appeared on
actually, yeah,
WWE versus Vince McMahon and shaved
yeah,
Vince's head.
yeah. Um, so I don't know, man. Or it could be a group buy. Like some people speculate, like maybe I don't foresee this happening, but you know, like maybe like The Rock, Cena, and you mentioned Batista, like all the A-list actors, they get together and do a group buy. They have partnership ownership of it. I don't foresee that happening. I think if it's going to be an independent person, they're probably going to do it strictly thinking like it's an investment, and it very well could be if done correctly. I just wouldn't like to see that, even though I'm not really watching the product anymore. But I think in order for like another company like the one I do watch for AEW to succeed, you still have to have that healthy competition. So I would like to see it still have an owner that makes it competitive. Um, but it could be Disney. I'm trying to think of other big companies that probably could do it. Like you brought up Comcast, I think that could be another one. Um, I don't know,
Exclusively on
man.
Peacock.
Huh?
I said exclusively on Peacock.
Yeah, the cack. I mean, right now, I mean, they have a very good, working relationship. So, who knows, man? And who, like, is there a single owner of that, or
Well, Comcast.
yeah, or is that just kind of
It's
like
probably just a board that owns
a
it.
board a board owns it as well? Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, like, I guess much like a lot of things, it's going to be an ongoing saga. Um, I mean, this isn't going to happen overnight, of course, but it would be very, very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it's just I mean, like I don't follow wrestling that much, and it's not because it's not entertaining. It's just not my thing, unfortunately. But
Yeah,
the fact that I mean, obviously he did own it. It's his business. He could do whatever he wants. I agree, whatever.
100%. Yeah,
But he stole it from his family members and close personal friends. And I feel like instead of selling, he should have just handed the reins over to them, like his daughter Stephanie McMahon, or gave more shares to one of the most invested wrestlers, Triple H, that knew that he could carry the torch because he has that still, how do you say it, will and motivation to do so. It's like the fact that he's pulling the rug underneath them and giving it to somebody else would be, it's just, it would be a horrible ending for them.
I think so too. I mean, everything obviously remains to be seen, but I concur with that. I just think, you know what, he probably obviously didn't leave on his own terms, that's for certain. Um, and I think that may also play a huge part in why this is happening. But I mean, the man had it made. Like, man has money galore. Um, right into the sunset. But I guess his ego's still getting the best of him, and I think unfortunately the Vince McMahon he plays on TV really bleeds into the Vince McMahon that he is in real life.
Yeah, he turned from a fictional, figment villain to an actual villain.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure. Even though you're not the biggest wrestling guy, we might have to revisit this one again in the future. But um,
I mean, maybe I'm only gonna put my opinion here because obviously people watch WWE for the connections, the wrestlers, the history, and all that stuff. I feel like if it was bought out, especially like you said, because everybody being upset, and it was bought up by another company, I feel like this would be the fall of WWE. That even if it was bought up by an investor, they wouldn't get the return because other organizations like TNA, AEW, New Japan Wrestling would just skyrocket because they realize that the empire fell. Time to go to a new one.
It's very much possible. I mean, yeah, it's you would think naturally they would flock. It would probably happen over time, but
I think if they
who
sold
knows?
it, probably would be a mass exodus, unless if the pay cut was super big.
But on the flip side, depending on who gets it, I mean, who knows? They might even get a pay increase because they might want to be more. Once again, there's that competition thing, right? It's like, no, we need to keep y'all from jumping to other companies, so we are going to pay you more.
Well, that's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying. It would keep them if it's a pay increase, but on the other hand, a pay increase could be a double-edged sword because even if you are getting a short-term amount of money that's larger than your original, if
mhm.
it flops and you didn't take that jump ship method, then you're just stuck with that little short lump sum, and you're completely out of a job because you didn't switch market on a sinking ship.
That could happen to a lot of the wrestlers, 100%. But I think your top name guys that the other companies would still pull you in no matter what.
So really, if
So,
you're not mainstream, you should really consider your options carefully.
oh, 100%. No, 100%. Uh,
Because really, a
that,
franchise can only be up by its supporters and its fans, not by money. Because money is only there until support's gone.
no, that's true, and that's the interesting thing about this business. I mean, realistically, that motive could be said with any and all businesses, but it really rings true with this one. Like fans really do have a very loud voice in the success of well the whole company as a whole. But not only that, but even the wrestlers themselves, right? Like their buy-in and how they cheer for them, how they boo for them. They they are the voice. Well, I think that's it's funny that now I'm talking about this. I think that's also what makes the wrestling part so attractive. Is like
The
fans
crowd is
actually
part of the part of the play.
not only part of the play, but they could have an impact on a person's life. You don't get that from a lot of other sports
Yeah, like
or a lot of things in general.
God. So this is gonna go back a little bit to
Mm-hmm,
one of the people I met randomly through just trying to like put myself out there. He's
mm-hmm.
also into wrestling too. He was telling me about this New Japan wrestling guy called is it King? He basically does like cosplays of like video games. Like he dressed up as like Seth Roth. He's from the New Japan
Oh,
Wrestling.
Kenny Omega. No, he's at well. He started at well, not really started, but he definitely evolved and made his name in New Japan. But he's currently also with AEW, and yeah, that happened 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Yeah, that shit was fucking dope.
Yeah, because people are that I guess that would be one of the examples that I see. Like I don't do research, so I may be wrong on
Yeah,
this. Maybe you can correct me. But it seems like his name popped up just because of his how do you say his energetic way of presenting game characters and his intros to wrestling, and then obviously fans cheered him on. That's how he became as big as he is now because he just knew how to present. The crowd just ate it up and kept going for him.
yeah, no, he's definitely a big gamer himself,
His
and
Seth Roth
he's
costume was cool though.
oh, dude, that whole presentation was bad. I tweeted it to my buddy who's also an FF fan, and he knows who Kenny Omega is too. But like the part where like he did his arm and then the whole wing came out on the fucking that was just so fucking dope. I was like, all he needed was the Masamune. But I
So,
still need to watch that match because like that match supposedly got really 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 high marks.
supposedly he
Um,
has like a finishing move called the one winged angel or something like that.
yep, yep, yep. One wing ago. He like he puts the um other wrestler on his shoulders and then he like grabs his head, pulls him down a little bit, and then like pulls him forward and then drops him. It's a cool move.
Too bad
Like
he.
it's one of those moves like until I could be wrong on this too, even though I'm a pretty big wrestling fan. But when it comes to moves, like obviously over the time and over years, wrestlers will steal moves because it's kind of hard to come up with your own, I guess, over time. So that one, I don't know if a wrestler did use it before him, but I just know that that's the first time I've seen it when he started using it.
One
So
thing
yeah,
I'd love
pretty
to see,
badass.
which I know if I was to see a finishing move,
Mhm.
and this is 100% a video game finishing move, is if he could. Obviously, he can't because these wrestlers weigh like 200-300 pounds, just of solid muscle. But imagine if he picked up the guy one handed, rose him up, and slowly choked him on, then dropped him as like a finisher. That'd be pretty cool.
I will tell you, I can guarantee you there are some wrestlers that could do that to other people. 100%.
Oh yeah, your average guy, but not a wrestler
Well,
versus a wrestler,
so
because
so there so the other thing you got to remember about wrestling, right, is the mirage, right? The mirage of what they do. So technically, a lot of wrestlers could do that in a sense where, like you said, they pick them up and they lift them, but what the opponent is doing is he's holding his weight on his arm.
but that guy still has
So,
to support that full weight on his arm, still not just in his
but
wrist.
you're right, but you're talking about guys that have really fucking good strength, right? Two
Oh
guys,
yeah,
not just one. One is gonna inherit a lot of their own body mass and support themselves, but it makes the other wrestler look stupid strong because it looks like optically that they're like lifting them all up. It could be done. It could be done.
I would love to see that. I
I
think that'd
will.
be like a cool ending.
I'll answer to answer your question though. I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler do that. I, however, think it could be done.
I admit I don't know the rules, but do they have weight classes for wrestling?
Um, so in WWE they kind of did because they have like they don't really call them weight classes. They'll kind of like assume it. Excuse me, with their belts, right? So they'll have like the heavyweight title, which is supposed to be your not really weight class, but your more bulkier, your bigger wrestlers. And then they had like the Intercontinental Championship or the U.S. title, which is for like your mid card or your mid level weight class wrestlers. Then they had the cruiserweight, which was supposed to be your smaller ones.
And you
So
got
they
your
did,
featherweights.
yeah. No, they didn't have featherweights,
I
but
thought the featherweights were for the girls.
oh, sure, I guess. But no, the women's just had just one title basically, which they don't have different weight classes for women.
The only reason why I was asking, because I was gonna say, if they actually matched a wrestler like like a Brock Lesnar size versus like Paco size, it could be done easier that way.
Oh, and it has been done. Like I mean, I think one of the like Rey Mysterio. You know who Rey Mysterio is, right? I think you, yeah. So I mean, he's a smaller guy. He's probably maybe just an inch or two taller than I, or maybe not. Maybe he's the same height, but he's a smaller dude, and he's won the heavyweight championship, right? So like, there's been times where it's happened. Or Daniel Bryan, which I think you know who Daniel Bryan is, maybe too,
No.
maybe. Oh, okay. Well, he's in AEW now under Bryan Danielson.
Oh,
He's also a
is that
smaller
the guy
guy.
we talked about recently? Because of like the drug test.
No, 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 no.
Okay, then I don't
Um,
know.
no, that's fine. But I mean, it's happened. It's happened quite often. And once again, that's the mirage of wrestling. Like I guess another good example would have been this past Wednesday. This wrestler who is probably also my size, if not maybe even smaller. He probably weighs more than me because he has more muscle than I. But um, smaller dude ended up beating a larger athlete for his belt on Wednesday. So
Yeah,
it happens.
but that's not because of competition fighting. That's just because of story writing. I'm talking about like
Of
the
course.
physicality of lifting somebody up because of like. There's no way Brock Lesnar can lift up Brock Lesnar with one hand. He would have to lift up a guy around like a Rey Mysterio size with one hand. That's what I'm saying.
I would say in that case, yes, probably more factual.
That's what I'm saying. But like fighting
Yeah,
wise, any
yeah,
class could fight any class because it's all scripted fighting. It's not like real fighting.
yeah. No, 100%.
I'm not.
No,
I'm
I
not
would
saying
think
that to take away. I'm not saying that to take
no,
away
not
from
at
anything.
all.
I'm just saying there's a reason why you could do that because it's storytelling.
Of course, no. Believe me, I'm a big fan, and I'm agreeing with you. I know that. There's the people that don't agree with you and will fight you are the ones that believe wrestling are real is real. And you know what? Bless their hearts. That's all I say. I bless their hearts.
They're
Because
really fighting. I'm.
because like when I was going to the live events more frequent, like the local ones, you'll get fans like that fucking believe that shit's real, and like I'm not laughing at them, like, and I'm not laughing with them either. I'm just laughing. No, I'm laughing at their enjoyment. Like, and like I said, it's not at them or with them, but I'm just like amused and happy that
They
they're
can believe
enjoying
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they could believe it, and it's like
Yeah, because they get like a
you really
kid
do
level sense
believe.
of enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, and then they're obviously grown as adults, which is fine. And then I think that's the other thing. That's the other beauty of wrestling is that no matter what your age is, and this happens to me too, even though I know it's fake. There are times where you become so invested, where like you're just a little kid happiness all over again, and I get that enjoyment from games still sometimes. So um, yeah, I love it.
I think that's why. Well, boxing not so much because it's been proven to be mostly scripted. But I think that's why I like the UFC is that it's that sense of unpredictability. You don't know. You might have a favorite fighter, but you never know if they're gonna get knocked out, and then it's an upsetting moment. Just the energetic hype moment. Just I I think this. I think all sports and all entertainment has this aspect, and it's just it's cool to feel that moment where you just don't know and you're just surprised in the moment.
Mhm. So I never fully got into UFC. Um, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't know why. I just never really fully gravitated and invested into it. But with that said, because I think you may and you probably consume more UFC than WWE or just professional wrestling in general,
Oh,
right?
way more.
Way more. So with that said, because this has also been something that's been argued, do you feel like UFC could be scripted?
I think I think it depends on the match. Maybe I mean anything can be scripted. Really, I mean once money is involved, anything can be scripted. But I think a lot of
Sure.
the actual like undercard matches are like legit fights. Like
Yeah.
main cards, maybe they
Hmm.
might be real, maybe they might be fake. I don't know. I don't care. It's just entertaining. But the undercard ones, 100%. Like if you watch them, they don't take hits like that for fake. Like those are real hard hitting knockout punches.
Hmm. I like the way you've explained that because I think even though I don't watch it that much, I would concur with that assessment too because even though all wrestling's fake, but to that point, like if you like I said, I used to watch a lot of the indie stuff. You know, you brought up my cousin and stuff. Um, of course, it's still fake, but the amount of not to say that obviously WWE, AEW, they don't put effort because they do, but like in the indies, it's like they're trying to make the name for themselves, right? So it's like
They gotta put extra.
yeah, the effort's like so much extra, and like you just feel it more, which is awesome. Um, but with all that said, actually, since you brought up UFC, they might be a suitor for WWE.
I hope not because what's his name? When CM
Dana
Punk
White. Oh, sorry. Go. Yeah.
I mean, Dana White could run it and definitely, advertise the mess out of it because he's like Vince McMahon. He's
He's
good at
good
advertising.
at.
He was
Yes,
great.
he is.
It's just if he took over WWE, he will change the vision up significantly to make it more how do you say it violent because he's very competitive, very physically competitive, and I think that might be a little too graphic for WWE. But also we've seen the crossover with CM Punk being fighting normal fighters, and that was kind of a disappointment.
Well, he was a disappointment, but did you see Brock Lesnar in the ring?
Well, Brock Lesnar is a UFC. I mean, I guess he started off as as a WWE wrestler, but dude, Brock Lesnar when he was in the ring, especially when he versed Frank Mir, dude, best matches ever because of their physicality, their strength, their
Dude,
technique.
Brock Lesnar through a fucking TV screen scared the shit out of me.
Dude,
Cause
Brock
like,
Lesnar has real wrestling skills though. Like he doesn't have that
no,
fake
yes, he
wrestling.
does.
He has real
Well,
like
no, no,
grappling moves that he will
yes,
just
he
take
was.
you
He was
down.
a
He's got speed with him as well.
no, yeah, because he was a college athlete. But I think even high school athlete, if memory serves me correct. No, but like what scared me with Brock when I first saw him in the UFC that surprisingly I didn't really notice or saw in WWE is his agility.
Oh, he's quick. He's a big guy, but he's super quick.
That's what fucking scared me. I was like, dude's moving like a fucking cat.
Dude, he always goes for the grapple. I mean, he could strike, but his grappling ability, man, like if he takes your knees, you're done. You're on the ground. It's a grapple match, and most likely you're gonna submit.
Yeah, like that's the part that scared me when I'm like, holy fuck, man, that guy's scary.
Yeah, that's why
like,
Frank Mir was such a good match for him because they're both fast, and obviously Frank is more of like a kickboxer striker, so he's able to counter Brock's grappling because of his footwork.
Mm-hmm.
and that's what made their matches so entertaining because they're just they were two opposite styles that match each other evenly in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But Brock's
Yeah,
physicality, man, dude, is on another level. He's a beast.
yeah, no, and that's
Brock
why his
Smash.
nickname, that's why his nickname is the Beast. But yeah, not, it's funny how we kind of like segued into that because like once again, don't know if it's going to happen, but that would kind of be an interesting suitor. Would be
Yeah, but
Dana
Brock's an
White or
anomaly
UFC.
though. Like Brock has actual fighting abilities. Most wrestlers don't have real fighting abilities. I mean, they have strength, they have the muscular mass, but they don't have actual combat experience like Brock did.
I would say yeah, that's kind of accurate. But there are some that do have that amateur wrestling background. Like my cousin's not in WWE or AEW, but like he wrestled amateurly in high school as well. Um, so yeah, I mean some of them have them, but you're right, not a lot of them do. I think a lot of them, watched wrestling at a young age and decided, hey, that's what I want to do. Didn't wrestle amateurly, but they went to school training, become a professional wrestler at XYZ. So
Yeah, and
um,
I think the difference too is that if you like really try to become like a performance wrestler, it's more theatrics and falling and taking hits in very creative ways. While actual fighting like wrestling, it's all about making
technique.
contact and all that stuff, positioning, angles, how to strike, how to grapple, how to maneuver. Going back to Brock Lesnar,
Hmm.
I think the reason why he's so freaking fast is because since he did actual wrestling, when you're on the mat, you gotta learn how to take your whole body and switch it on an opponent while they're holding you, and that's very difficult to do.
Yeah,
And unlike
for sure.
not taking away from normal wrestling, but you don't have to worry about the aspect. It's more just how you can take a hit and then take a bump to going down, which
Oh, for
is a
sure.
skill in itself. It's just not a fighting skill that you want in a ring like
No,
that.
no, of course. But like I said, it's still a skill, and it's still real. Damn it, to that extent.
No, yeah, they take real damage. They're very entertaining about it, and like I said, it's a skill because the fact that these guys don't get hurt more the way they do, like when you watch like the ladder matches and them taking hits on tables, chairs, whatever, it's like it takes a lot of skill to make sure you don't truly cripple someone that way.
Yeah, I don't know if you intended it to say that way, but when you say cripple someone that way, that is so far the truth, or that so much is the truth, because that's the other thing about wrestling is that the opponent has to also have so much trust in their their opponent, because the way they do their moves on the other person has a huge impact on whether or not they could be paralyzed from the neck down, and that's huge. Like knowing that you have to put your trust, your whole body into somebody else's hands for, whether it's a 5 minute match or a 20 minute match.
Yeah.
All that's important.
And
So
unfortunately, botches do happen. Like I could be
yeah.
wrong, but I feel like maybe I've heard the story. Maybe I'm just making it up.
Hmm.
But I think I don't know who it is. I'm gonna say the name. The move was like an RKO where he had the neck and he did that. I don't know
Hmm.
which wrestler did it, but apparently one
Hmm.
guy went out a little too hard and too fast, and he actually broke some wrestler's neck doing that.
So I know Randy Orton does that move, but there's other wrestlers that have done it in the past.
I'm not saying it's the
I,
RKO, but it's something like very
yeah,
similar where they have their neck and they go
yeah,
down.
yeah. Um, I can't think of a scenario that happened with Randy Orton. Not saying it didn't happen because I'm pretty sure it has. Like you said, botches or just um, unfortunate, um, circumstances. Like yeah, things have happened. But I can't tell you the exact story that you're looking for. I can't give you the example, so unfortunately, I can't give you.
Yeah, maybe
But
I'm
I'm
making
sure.
it
But
up,
I'm
but I
sure.
feel like I've
No,
heard it
I'm
before.
sure it has happened. I'm sure it has. I
But
mean, it's just the slightest thing, and could be fucked up.
maybe because I also seen like the older generations, but I also love how they go away from having like actual gimmicks. Like
Hmm.
there's a wrestler called Jake the Snake,
Hmm.
uh, where he would actually have snakes on there, and I'm not sure if he defanged them, whatever, but certain wrestlers didn't like the fact that they had to get bit by a snake,
Hmm.
and
Oh yeah, I mean,
I think
because of the
because of him,
phobia.
they took away that aspect of having gimmicks like that.
like I know there's and I feel like these are shows that you would probably actually really like to watch. Like the dark, I think they're called Dark Side of the Ring or Dark Side of the Mat or something like that. But they kind of, for certain wrestlers, they'll go, behind the scenes and talk about like, the negative things, right? And I think there might have been one on Jake the Snake Roberts, and one because of all the drugs he did. But I think the other element to that that happened a lot with the 80s and
Him
especially the
and
90s.
what's his Macho Man Randy Savage, how they talk to each other.
Yeah, and from the grave. But going back to the snake part, like I think he also got in trouble for like not feeding them,
uh,
or to your point, like defanging them because that's like animal cruelty or something. Um, so yeah, like there's those stories too. But the wrestlers, like some of the wrestlers being afraid, that's yeah, because they're fucking actually afraid because they have a phobia of snakes. I mean, some people do. So could you imagine being told that, hey, you gotta
I'm like,
work
no,
a
I'm good. I'm
sandwich
fire
with
me
the
now.
snake, and he's gonna like put the snake on your snake, and you're gonna rub snakes together? No, but like yeah, that would suck, dude.
Yeah, dude, well, not just the 90s, I guess the 80s too, but they were
Mhm.
like the true like cowboys of the
Oh yeah.
wrestling world.
Oh, 100%.
Like Stone Cold
100%.
Steve Austin always drinking beer at matches, saying stuff, and Ric Flair going crazy, sometimes taking a hit a blow before a match. Um, Jake the
Oh, during
Snake,
too.
probably during. You got Jake the Snake, Macho Man. I heard Hulk Hogan did some really weird things on set as well. But it's
Yeah.
just those guys were on a different level of crazy.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like not to say that some wrestlers probably don't do some of those things today, but I think a lot of those that what's the word I'm looking for? Um,
They're more secretive than they were before. Like back then, like it was just open. Like you knew they're doing it.
well,
Like now it's just more tame.
not only did you knew, but also they had the luxury of not having social media. So could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Yo, Hulk Hogan would be canceled immediately. He would not have movie deals like he did.
Could you imagine?
You got to get
Fuck,
the
man.
alimony, brother.
You want a reality show? Fuck, you got one. Every single one of them would be
That's for Housewives of
contents
WWE.
galore. Shit, don't even need housewives. It's just them themselves.
I
But
think that's why, like, when I was into wrestling, it's like, just because of their just over the top, characteristics, it just draws you in. Like, I think that's why, even though I don't watch, I still respect it, just because of, how they build their character. And unfortunately, sometimes they may get too enveloped like Vince McMahon, but
yeah, yeah, that's true. But that's all I got for that topic. So kind of wrap it up. I'm like I said, I'm sure we'll maybe revisit this again in the
yes, if he
future.
passes it
But
along, if he sells
yeah,
it, or if it just WWE disappears.
because yeah, but if that does happen, obviously that would be pretty fucking big news.
Oh yeah. Would you be sad though?
No, no,
I think a
no.
lot.
I
I
think
think at this point, a lot of people moved on from it.
yeah, I think I'm in that camp. I feel like I've graduated WWE as crazy as that sounds. But like it's interesting though because like I remember growing up, and I'll kind of put this really quick, but I liked WWE before it got as popular as WWE is. Of course, it always had the gravitas in the name, but WCW was the promotion that was number one for so long. And in my household, me and my dad would have to fight over which wrestling show we wanted to watch because he liked WCW, I liked WWE. And I remember just that whole battle. And when WWE finally took over, I was just like, ah, your face! Ah, you watched a shittier wrestling show. So, like, I was, dare I say, I was there or was a fan when they took over. And now, in a sense, not that they're still number one, they're still the mothership, but, maybe I'll be around to see their fall.
When you did that, you sound like little Nicky Adam Sandler. You're like, Popeye's chicken is a shit.
Didn't intend to, but
But no, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how the story develops. Hopefully, I know there's a lot of fans still there, so hopefully they
oh, yeah.
get something out of it. Hopefully, it's not a complete disaster for them, because that would suck if you're being a fan of a franchise for so long and they just poof disappear.
Oh, 100%. Don't deny that at all. But with that said, for any of you wrestling fans out there, if you'd like to leave a comment and share your thoughts on the potential sale of WWE.
Yes, who would you like to see it go to? Do you think they're going to pass it on? Do you think they're going to sell it? And do you think it will succeed if they do sell it? We would love to hear your thoughts on everything that we talked about in this episode.
Exactly. So
With
with that said, wrapping it up here for episode 19. It's always a pleasure, Josh.
Always.
And we got 20.
Yeah, 20 is around the corner. New year, new episodes. Everything's good. Also, little hint, a little potential, spoiler. We are probably going to have a guest next episode. I'm not going to reveal who until, obviously if you follow us on social media, you'll see as the weeks and days go on. But we might potentially have a guest next episode, which is more likely than not. But if you guys enjoyed the episode, make sure to like, rate, whatever you do. If you didn't like it, we'd like to hear that too. Any feedback is good feedback, and share it if you did enjoy. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in episode 20. Peace.
Peace.